Here we go now.
Ain't no good gonna come to you if you don't do right by the Brooke Ashley, the Dr. Wendy Osefo. Ain't no good gonna come to you. Okay, first of all, this is not a laughing matter. Okay, this is not a laughing matter, but that's the first thing that came to my mind. Because, we just did a video talking about Dr. Wendy, and everyone was like, y'all just don't like Dr. Wendy. Dr. Wendy's this. Y'all telling a Black woman that she can't be boisterous and proud of herself. No one ever said that. Y'all said that. We were talking about a character flaw. And look, everyone's innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. But if you are just joining us and you have not heard the breaking news, first of all, can you hear me? Can you see me? I'm still away. I'm walking the streets of Amsterdam and I'm getting text messages, DMs, notifications, Kempire, Mayday, Mayday, breaking news. I was sent that picture so many times. I said, this can't be real. Are you kidding me? And for those of you like, well, she wouldn't be the first housewife to do it. She's the first housewife allegedly to get caught. Look, we've heard of housewife, for those who don't know, Dr. Wendy Osefo and her husband, Eddie Osefo, the attorney, also the owner of Happy Eddie, looking high as hell in this. Let me bring up the photo. High as hell, high as hell in his mugshot. These are, how old are they? They are a particular age, Eddie and Wendy. I would be damned at my big age getting arrested. And I know their parents are, I know Eddie's parents are like, I told you so. I know Eddie's parents are like, I told you so. I told you she would be the downfall of you. I'm willing to bet money they're saying that. How embarrassing. You know what's more embarrassing? Why are you smiling in this photo? Eddie looks high AF in this photo. Eyes dim, down low. And look, ain't nothing wrong with being high. But it's not a good thing when you're high and you just got arrested for fraud. You got arrested for fraud, felony charges. We have to unpack all of this. If you're just joining us, I'm your boy, TheKempire. You're watching us live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. I hear I look better and sound better on Twitch. So make sure you're following us, twitch.tv/TheKempire. Shout out to all of you in the live chat. I haven't even looked at the comment section yet. I can't. And I will say this, though. When Karen got arrested, Wendy was gracious to Karen. She didn't dog Karen out, but I did not expect that we would be talking about another Potomac star getting arrested. However, when I give you the details of what she's being arrested for, some of you speculated about this burglary before. I don't try to speculate on those things unless there's like solid information. Now we're getting solid information and charges. Solid information and charges. I'm not saying that she's guilty. I'm just saying she was arrested. And they're alleging that this is all stemmed from the burglary, them lying to a police officer. That's the misdemeanor charge. She's facing what? 16 charges? Eddie's facing 18 charges. All right, I'm gonna get into it. And as I get into it, do me a favor. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to share this video. Let people know we are live. It's evening. I should be having dinner with a handsome gentleman this evening, but here I am working. Look, here I am working, but it's okay. It's all right. I'll get this done and figure out my plans later. Let's get into it because I feel like page 6 gave us a better rundown, but it was TMZ that was the first to report and show us this mugshot. First of all, the mugshot alone is embarrassing. I don't know why you're smiling in this mugshot. Eddie's eyes are low because they are dimmed from the happy Eddie. Dr. Wendy, I'm not even calling her Dr. Namar. I already told you I was going to stop calling her doctor after the whole Brooke Ashley of it all. If you don't know what the Brooke Ashley of it all means, then you need to go watch the video that I did on that. Okay. The wig glue is coming up a little bit in this photo. Just as parents, I would not be smiling in a mugshot photo because the kids are going to see this. Her kids are of a particular age. This is all over the internet right now. I would not be smiling. All right, so let me give you the full story. And this is according to our friends over at page 6. But as I said to you before, the first news outlet to report on this was TMZ. Sidebar, TMZ, I saw how you try to correlate Kamala Harris and Dr. Wendy in your article. Really? What does this have to do with Kamala Harris? So, you know what Kathy Griffin says about Harvey, though. She said he's a Trumper. He's a gay Trumper. I know you're not here for that, but I'd like to piece everything to you. I'd like to piece it all together for you. So according to page 6, they said the Real Housewives of Potomac star Wendy Osefo and her husband, Edward Osefo, were arrested for fraud. Page 6 says that they can confirm. The Carroll County Sheriff's Office in Westminster, Maryland, tells page 6 that the married couple was taken into custody Thursday. So what do you do when you're at home with your 3 kids? She's lucky she doesn't work for the university anymore. She probably would have lost her job. What do you do when you have 3 kids at home and both the parents are arrested? Embarrassment. The Carroll County Sheriff's Office in Westminster, Maryland, tells page 6 the married couple was taken into custody yesterday, but is in the process of being released after placing a $50,000 bond each. I don't deal with a lot of arrests personally. You don't have to pay the full $50,000, or you have to pay like a percentage. What is it, like 10%? You guys let me know in the chat. Things like 10% you're supposed to put down. So what's 10% of 50,000? And then thank you, 5,000 each. Thank you, Coco. See, also shout out to our Twitch fam. Your comments come in real time. So $10,000 they had to post. $10,000. So back to this. For those that are just joining us, we're talking about Real Housewives of Potomac star Dr. Wendy Osefo. Stop calling her doctor. Wendy Osefo and Eddie Osefo were arrested for fraud. They said the Carroll County Sheriff's Office in Westminster, Maryland tells TMZ the married couple was taken into custody Thursday, but it's in the process of being released after placing a $50,000 bond each. Wendy faces 15 charges, including 7 felony false misleading info fraud in excess. That's important to know because when I first read the article, I was like, she got felony charges of $300. No, they're saying in excess. So at least 300 or more. So they're saying that she's facing 7 felony false / misleading info fraud in excess of $300, 7 misdemeanor on false / misled info fraud in excess of $300, and a misdemeanor charge of a false statement to an officer, per the Carroll Garden County Sheriff's Office Public Information Officer. So they continue. It said Eddie, for his part, faces 18 total charges, including 9 felony false and misleading info fraud in excess of $300, 8 misdemeanor on false misleading info fraud in excess of $300, and a misdemeanor charge of false statement to an officer. The pair's mugshot were released Friday, showing each of them flashing smiles when booked. Like you're not embarrassed? Why are you smiling in your mugshot? Because maybe they think later on they'll be one of the household. I think, is this a first where both housewife and house husband were both arrested at the same time? This is sad. So the mugshots were released on Friday. They were dressed in not matching gray t-shirts, which seemed to be jail attire. Wendy, 41, appeared makeup free, except for the false lashes. She also sported a half up, half down do for the shot. The reality star joined RHOP in 2020, and she also once worked as a commentator on CNN. Aside from her TV pursuits, Wendy earned multiple college degrees, including a PhD in public affairs and community development. She also launched a candle and lifestyle business called Oni Home Essentials. Page Six has reached out to reps for Wendy, Eddie, and RHOP, but has not yet heard back. Mind you, this is all happening as the new season is happening. So you know this is going to be brought up during the reunion. But she probably will give us one of those answers where it's in the middle of litigation, so I really can't speak on it. So did this just secure Wendy's spot for a season 11? Probably. The Osefos arrest comes shortly after another one of Wendy's co-stars just got out of legal hot water. In September, as you know, Page Six exclusively reported that RHOP star Karen Huger has been released from prison after serving 6 months for driving under the influence charge. But let me give you what TMZ is reporting in regards to what are these charges related to, okay? Let's get into what they reported in regards to this. So let me go over here. All right. So according to the prosecution's bail recommendation documented obtained by TMZ, the couple reportedly told police several bags. Oh, wait, rewind. So they said police say that the couple reported a burglary April of 2024. The couple claimed that they found their bedroom ransacked after returning from a trip in Jamaica. So let me remind you about that story before we get into what they're being charged with. So this was back in April 12th, 2024, TMZ reported on this, and this was their exclusive report. Burglars hit the home of Real Housewives of Potomac star Dr. Wendy Osefo, swiping some very expensive possessions from the Bravo star. And I remember when this happened, a lot of you were saying that you didn't believe it. And I'm just like, okay, guys, why would we automatically jump to that conclusion? I try to give people grace, and then we didn't hear anything about it. So they're told, TMZ, that the burglary took place sometime last week in Finksburg, Maryland, when Wendy and her family were on vacation in Jamaica. A spokesperson for the Carroll County Sheriff's Office tells us that the theft was reported to their office on Sunday, but shared no further details as the investigation is still ongoing. Wendy tells TMZ, "My family and I are devastated and feel violated by this intrusion. We thank God no one was home." This lands differently, guys. When you see what they're being accused of, and again, they're innocent until proven guilty. But when you hear the statement that she gave to TMZ at the time, they said, Wendy tells TMZ, "My family and I are devastated and feel violated by this intrusion. We thank God no one was home. So for that, we feel very blessed. Material things can always be replaced." Still, sources familiar with the situation say the thieves took off with a majority of designer bags, including a few Birkin bags. We're also told that they swiped a large amount of Wendy's jewelry. That's important to note. Wendy was happily documenting her spring break getaway at the Azul Beach Resort Negril. As Wendy shared on Instagram, the professor enjoyed some surf and sun alongside her husband, Eddie Osefo, and their 3 children. So a lot of people are saying, you shouldn't be posting when you're away and things like that. Unfortunately, Wendy's not the first housewife, as you know, to experience a home invasion. Remember Dorit Kemsley, who there's been a lot of speculation around Dorit's burglary as well, but she has not been charged. So she was a victim of a burglary back in 2021 as she was held at Pow 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 Point while her home was looted. Her children were asleep in the other room at the time. Kyle Richards also experienced a home burglary in 2017. People have accused her too. Again, there's been no solid information saying that those other housewives did anything wrong. So Kyle's home was burglarized in 2017 when her Encino house was hit by thieves who took some treasured family heirlooms. But here's where the problem comes up for Dr. Wendy. So back to what TMZ reported. So they said, well, the police say the couple reported a burglary in April of last year. The couple claimed that they found their bedroom ransacked as returning from a trip to Jamaica. We're told they told you about the incident on TMZ back in April of last year. According to the prosecution's bail recommendation documents obtained by TMZ, the couple reportedly told police several designer bags and jewelry had been stolen. But get this, Carroll County Sheriff deputies allege Wendy was later seen on social media in a social media post wearing a diamond ring she reported stolen. Did y'all hear that last part? She was caught on social media, was later seen on social media wearing a diamond ring she reported stolen. Additionally, an investigation determined numerous items that the Osefos claimed were stolen had been purchased, then returned to the store, where a full refund was provided prior to the alleged burglary. So I'm going to paint the picture for you. So after they were burglarized, allegedly, they listed all these different items that were stolen. However, these items that they had purchased, they had apparently taken it back to the store and received a full refund. What in the? That is some shady. Again, when this is why I bring up the Brooke Ashley stuff. When we talk about her being shady towards Brooke and Brooke being blindsided by her saying, like, I'm mean, like, what did I do to you? I'm just telling you to pay attention to these details for future reference. So an investigation determined numerous items the Osefos claimed were stolen had been purchased, then returned to the store where a full refund was provided prior to the alleged burglary. Did they not realize that people would be able to put that together? I don't understand. The documents indicate the couple had claimed a $450,000 personal property loss to an insurance company. Does she not realize do they not realize that the insurance companies are serious about investigating these things? And this is why it's serious, because I know some people are like, well, no one was hurt. No one was hurt. It's because of people allegedly like the Osefos that make it harder for you when you actually have a burglary or something happens and you need to go through the process of insurance. This is what makes it harder for other people that have way less. Just want to point that out because some of y'all don't get, like, oh, because some of y'all feel the same way about the Chrisleys. And I keep telling you, no, this makes it harder for you when your Black and brown self, try to go get a loan from the bank and they're like, no. So they said the investigation determined numerous items that the Osefos claimed were stolen had been purchased and returned to the store where a full refund was provided prior to the alleged burglary. The documents indicate the couple had claimed a $450,000 personal property loss to an insurance company. Wendy Osefo has been on the Real Housewives of Potomac since season 5. She was. Well, I think she's doing like one course at one college. She was a college professor of education teaching at the John Hopkins University. Remember, she recently quit that job. And a contributor to The Hill and MSNBC. She has degrees from Temple University, Johns Hopkins, and a PhD in public affairs and community development from Rutgers. So according to TMZ, they said, we just saw Wendy out and about on Sunday at CultureCon event in Brooklyn, New York. Wendy was tight with Kamala Harris during the former VP's run for president last year. The two are members of the same sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha. Okay, TMZ, that's a little shady because they're not tight. Wendy, like very much all these other people, were helping promote Kamala Harris for president. They're not tight. The news comes on heels of our RGB castmate, as you know, Karen Huger being released from jail last month after serving 6 months of a 1-year sentence for back-to-back DUIs. So, I had to do a little bit more research, and this is not definitive. This is just an assessment of what the Osefos could possibly be facing based off of Maryland law. Okay. So you already know they're both facing felony and misdemeanor charges, fraud in the excess of $300, plus a misdemeanor of making false statements to a law enforcement officer. So I had to ask ChatGPT in regards to this, just a little bit. And again, this is not in stone because there's still elements to what they're being charged that we still need to know. But I wanted to have a better idea because you're going to see so many different reports on this breaking news that Real Housewives of Potomac star Dr. Wendy Osefo and Eddie Osefo were arrested on multiple charges of fraud and misdemeanor charges for lying to police officers. Okay, so because the exact charging statutes are not publicly confirmed, we'll reference Maryland law for similar offenses to give a sense of what penalties might apply. So false statement to law enforcement, Maryland 9-501, under Maryland law, criminal law 9-501 prohibits knowingly making a false statement or report to a law enforcement officer with intent to deceive. That is a misdemeanor in Maryland, and on conviction carries up to 6 months imprisonment or a fine of up to $500 or both. In practice, how much time is imposed could depend on aggravating or mitigating factors, prior record, harm caused, etc. Based on what I know, I don't believe that they have any priors in regards to this. Does anyone remember? Yeah, so I don't see that. So for the misdemeanor count, worst case, Dr. Wendy might face up to 6 months if convicted on that count by itself. So fraud or false or misleading information, lying/false claims, the felony counts she faces, 7 of them, are for false misleading info, fraud in excess of $300. That suggests that the state is treating those as more serious than a simple lie to police, more like a fraudulent misrepresentation or false claim. In Maryland, there are a number of statutes related to making false statements or fraudulent applications. For example, criminal law, statute 8-504 addresses making false or fraudulent statements in applications for state or local benefits or assistance. That is classified as a misdemeanor of perjury, i.e. aligned with perjury statutes, i.e. punished as per the perjury rules. Criminal law, statute 8-402 deals with fraud in another manner. The statute calls this a misdemeanor punishable by between 6 months to 3 years in prison for a fine between $1,000 and $10,000 or both, depending on circumstances. Theft/property statutes, not exactly the same, but often analogous in fraud cases in Maryland, classify theft of property valued in certain ranges as a felony with the maximum penalties depending on value. For instance, theft of property worth $1,500 to $24,999 is punishable up to 5 years in prison or a fine up to $10,000. Also, perjury statutes in Maryland, criminal law 9-101, impose up to 10 years imprisonment for perjury, even though perjury is often called a misdemeanor in code because perjury is treated seriously. Because the felony counts here are for false, misleading info fraud, the state may be treating them akin to more serious fraud or false claims offenses, which can carry significantly more severe penalties than simple misdemeanors. So we're just seeing the possibilities here. We're not saying that this is what they're facing. So keep that in mind. So given the uncertainties, here are what can be reasonably estimated. For the misdemeanor false statement to law enforcement, up to 6 months in statutory maximum. For the felony fraud, false misrepresentation counts, the maximum penalties depend on how the state classifies those counts. So that's important. Which statute they use, whether those counts involve monetary amounts. I think Miss Esquire's backstage. I definitely want to. Oh, and Miss Esquire, come back, Miss Esquire, if you hear me. If any of those, okay, if any of those felony counts are treated analogously to theft or major fraud statutes, they may carry multiple years in prison. For example, 5 years or more. I don't think that this is what they will get, but what do I know? I'm not an attorney. This is not legal advice. I'm just ascertaining based on what we know so far. But typically, in multi-count fraud cases, prosecutors might not seek the maximum for every count, or sentences might run concurrently, or plea deals could reduce exposure significantly. So in a pessimistic scenario, if Dr. Wendy were convicted on several felonies with stiff penalties, the total exposure might be several to potentially up to a decade or more. But that's a rough ceiling. Realistically, the actual sentence would likely be lower depending on plea negotiations, the facts, her prior record, and other factors. So that's important to note, because if she's going to do it really depends on the amount of information that they have against the Osefos. Based on what I know, they don't have a prior record, either one of them. And for Eddie to be in the bar, they did a background check, so I'm pretty sure he doesn't have anything. So Wendy, as I said to you before, is facing 16 charges, including 7 felony counts for false misleading information and a misdemeanor false statement to an officer count. The misdemeanor false statement count carries a maximum of 6 months in jail under Maryland law. The felony fraud count could carry multiple years in prison, depending on the exact statute used and how serious the offense is treated. So that's important. Perjury statutes in Maryland have maximums up to 10 years in certain cases. So we don't know, based on what we know so far when it comes to what they're facing, but potentially she could be facing serious jail time. That said, actual sentencing, if convicted, would depend heavily on plea deals, the strength of evidence, how many counts are successfully prosecuted, whether sentences run concurrently, and her criminal history. Okay? All right. So if you're just joining us, we had the breaking news that Wendy Osefo from Housewives of Potomac and her husband, Eddie Osefo, were arrested. Eddie's facing 18 charges. Wendy's facing 16 charges. I believe at this particular point, they've posted bond, $50,000 bond each. So a lot is going on. If you're a member of the channel, I've already dropped the call link for those that want to call in on the post tab. If you are a Team Kempire member, I just dropped the call link for you guys as well. Live chat mods, if you can let me know how many likes we've gotten so far. Once we get to a certain amount of likes, I will drop the call link for the general audience. Again, I don't have my timer because, as you can see, I'm on vacation and I'm still working and I don't have my timer with me so you're going to have to moderate yourself and be quick and to the point. Okay, and respect that there are people waiting in line as well. Let me say thank you, because we did get quite a few super chats of people that want to weigh in on this breaking news that Wendy and Eddie were arrested for felony charges and misdemeanor charges. Felony charges for fraud, misdemeanor charges for lying to a police officer. They're claiming this all stems from a alleged burglary that happened back in April of 2024. They're saying that both Eddie and Wendy claimed that there were items from this burglary that they were missing. However, there's proof, allegedly, that those items were purchased and returned. She was also caught, Wendy was caught on social media wearing one of the diamonds that she claimed was also stolen. So the evidence is pretty damning, unless, because let's give some grace here, unless she ended up buying it again. Just saying, just asking, giving grace, trying to give grace, because we have over 5,000 of y'all here. Y'all better like the video. Mods, did y'all tell me how many videos, how many likes we got? Can someone tell me how many likes we got? I don't even know if we have any mods in here. All right. Let me say thank you. So Swift, thank you so much for super chat. So Swift, at Kempire, you were the only person I wanted to wait. About this mess. Oh, okay. About this mess with glad I made the live. Yes, we can hear you. Thank you so much, So Swift. We appreciate that. And thank you for the super chat. This is going to be dinner tonight. Coco, thank you so much for the super chat. Coco says, this reads 100% Wendy's idea. Why y'all got to put it on Wendy? Eddie about to lose his bar license. That's a question I have for, hold on, please hold. I'm going to ask a question. Hold on. I need to find out. And then if Miss Esquire or any other attorney. Oh, wait, Coco Esquire, you're an attorney. I'm sorry. You're an attorney. I keep forgetting. You called in before. Sorry. This reads 100% Wendy's idea. Eddie's about to lose his license. I need to look something up, though. Okay. This is a live show, y'all. And I did not see if you guys told me how many likes we had on YouTube. Oh, thank you so much, Lexi. Lexi says you have about 1,300 likes, but we have 5,000 of y'all here. Let's get to 2,000 likes. Okay. Thank you, thank you, Coco Esquire, for the super chat. We appreciate it. And if you are an attorney, please feel free to weigh in if you're watching the replay of this, okay? And for those that are waiting behind the scenes, when you make your statement, please drop out so that other people can call in. We're going to take short, shady comments, so please keep it short. But damn, Coco said this reads as 100% Wendy's idea. What do you guys think? Amy, thank you so much for the super chat. Amy says, Kempire, did you know about this? Because you did say you would not be calling her doctor anymore. Amy, why are you throwing me under the bus? Why are you throwing me under the bus? I just keep telling y'all need to pay attention to me when I say things, okay? Shout out to the Brooke Ashley, because some of y'all were defending Dr. Wendy. I was like, oh, the Kempire, why are you getting yourself involved in this? I was like, because Brooke is actually my friend. Y'all know, as a Taurus, we go hard for our friends. All right. Leandra, thank you so much for the super chat. Leandra says, Jizzy be leaving breadcrumbs every season about castmates, and they always shoot the messenger and claim that she's jealous. I'm just saying, the proof is in the pudding. What did she say about Wendy, though? Leandra, if you can remind us, because, I mean, she said a lot. What did she say? I can only imagine, because we know that this relationship between Jizzy and Wendy is forced. It's not real. They don't like each other. So she's on the line. Did you hear about Wendy? I knew it was something fishy. You ought to be a fly on that wall, on that makeshift wall. Houston Foodie, thank you for the super chat. Houston Foodie says, hey, Kempire, what a twist. Eddie said that he was minding his business lawyering, and here come Dr. Wendy wanting to keep up with the Joneses. That's what it's giving. It's definitely giving that. Again, they're not the first housewife to be accused of doing something similar. This is the first time we've actually had someone arrested for it, right? Is this the first time that we have? Why do I feel like someone else was arrested for this? I just know there have been a lot of claims of housewives doing insurance fraud, but there's not been solid information. Mr. Mellon Magic, thank you so much for the super chat. Mr. Mellon Magic says, when will it be Giselle or Ashley's turn? And mind you, we say a lot of stuff about Giselle and Ashley, but you don't see them getting caught up in stuff like this. Claire, thank you so much for becoming a member. We appreciate it. Don't forget, guys, you can become members at teamkempire.com/join. You can also subscribe to the Kempire podcast if you haven't already. Also, I will be uploading the audio of this along with other special episodes. If you're a Club Kempire member, I just dropped more information about my trip to Ireland and Amsterdam and things like that. So that's available. That is our paid Apple Podcast subscription, Club Kempire. So be sure to check that out. But also, I would drop by the Humble Brag podcast. Speaking of housewives, I stopped by the Humble Brag podcast with Crystal Kung-Minkoff and Cynthia Bailey. So if you missed it, go check that out. Mods or someone in the chat, can you just post the link to the YouTube video? You can also hear it on their podcast as well. I think we're breaking records over there, just saying. Peyton, thank you so much for the super chat. Peyton says, her and Peter working together suddenly makes more sense. Peter Thomas, she's talking about, who's currently serving for not paying the government. Kim, thank you for the super chat. Kim says she's so thirsty to prove to her mom that she could be, quote, successful without being a medical doctor or lawyer. Ooh. And there's just so much more that I don't share with you guys that I'm just like, Tina, thank you so much for the super chat. Tina says they're trying to join Sean Kingston and mom in prison. Y'all saw that story? We talked a little bit about the story, but I never gave you the update, the most recent update about Sean Kingston and his mother with the bald spot. Lord have mercy. And those are my people, Jamaicans. Lord have mercy. But she got a criminal past, the mama. It's just not worth it. Especially at your big age and you in jail. Like, come on. Sunshine, thank you so much for the super chat. Sunshine, oh wait, Sunshine, that was a big super chat. Let me shimmy. That's gonna pay for dinner tonight. Sunshine, thank you, Sunshine. Courtney, she says, Kemp, I literally thought this was AI. I said that to Brooke because we were texting about this, and I said, this is giving AI. Like, this is real. They don't look real. Oh, but Sunshine, let me bring up the photo for you again. I thought the same thing, but this is real. This is really them. This is really Wendy Osefo and Eddie Osefo. They were arrested for felony charges of fraud and a misdemeanor charges of lying to the police. This is really them. I thought the same thing. I thought the same exact. I said, this can't be real. Of all the people to get arrested on its cast, I would have thought that it would be, I was going to say Stacey, but no. I mean, because she lied a lot. I would have thought Mia. I would have actually even thought Ashley. But, sorry, Ashley. Look, no shade, but just saying. Alma, thank you so much for the super chat. Alma says, matching gray shirts. Are those jail clothes? Yeah. Alma, they were saying that they were possibly jail clothes that they were wearing. And not me with the gray sweater on, matching them. Lord have mercy. Where are my sound effects at? I'm in this my studio. What is, not me matching too. I did not do that intentionally, y'all. I just grabbed the first shirt that I could put on that looked decent. Okay. I'm sitting here doing laundry because I've been traveling for like 2 weeks. All right, thank you, Alma, for the super chat. Yeah, so apparently that was jail clothes. I don't want to go to jail at my big age. I didn't want to go to jail at my young age, and I never did. I ain't got no record. T talk with your girl. Hey, T talk with you. I met you in DC. Acting like Dorit, allegedly. This is crazy. Yeah, thank you for being a member, T talk. Paula, thank you so much for being a member for 9 months. Paula says, hey, Kempire, I'm still riding with you. Thank you, Paula. I appreciate it, but I wasn't the one that went to jail. So you just riding with me because you want to ride with me, right? Not riding with me because I went to jail. I didn't go to jail. Look, I didn't go to jail. Gary, thank you so much for the super chat. Gary says, Wendy. This will humble her and her little fandom. Karen probably snitched to get her time reduced. I know that's right. Oh my God. Oh my God. Gary. That literally made me blush. Yeah, normally you blush because you're like, oh my God, I'm embarrassed. Like that just was like, wait, I gotta read it again. Wendy. This will humble you. This will humble her and her little fandom. Karen probably snitched to get her time reduced. I know that's right. Y'all hear what it? Come on now, y'all. Gary, come on. Maisha, thank you. Dinner. Y'all paying for dinner tonight here in Amsterdam. Maisha says, just wanted to say hey and send you a little something and soak up this tea, Kemper. Thank you so much, Maisha. I appreciate that, guys. Guys, I get it. Not everyone can support. Send the cash apps, the Venmos, and thank you to those that do. I have all my notifications off, so I don't see that live. So thank you to all of you that support. But you can also support just by liking the video, but just by sharing the video, by subscribing, by sharing, telling a friend to tell a friend. Thank you, Maisha. I appreciate that. Linda, thank you so much for being a member for 32 months. Everyone give it up for Linda. Don't mess with the Brooke Ashley, especially when she's fair. You know, there are some people that are not fair, and I could see, Wendy saying that they're mean. But I was like, come on. Hey, Ann. Ann says, hi, Kemp. I'm about to leave for training and saw your headlines. What? Not the Dr. Wendy. This is disheartening. It is disheartening because I don't think we expected this at all. I'm telling you, I'm walking the streets and then text message. I don't need to have my alerts on. Y'all will keep me alert. People on X were hitting me up. Kempire, go live, breaking news. Mine just early for you guys this evening here. I'm like, luckily I didn't have anything planned. Can you imagine? Little Miss Most Valuable Commentator. Thank you so much for super chat. Next tagline: educated, elevated, and investigated. I mean, this is nothing that you should be proud of, so I would not be making any sort of tagline, but I appreciate your humor during these times of strife. Keith, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. Keith says, this may have been to one time I would have recommended someone ask Dorit for advice. No, she's not reaching out to Dorit. She should have probably reached out to Dorit before doing all of this. Rosefire, thank you so much for being a member for the super chat. Shimmy, let me shimmy. I didn't want to be rude, but I said someone better drag Kempire into that hotel room and get us alive. I like that you started like I didn't want to be rude, but I said someone better drag Kempire into that hotel room and get us alive. Well, I will tell you this because I have boundaries with my community. I prioritize. I was shopping, and I was texting with my peoples in regards to this story, so I was fully abreast of what was going on. But I prioritized my shopping, getting a snack, then coming back, and then I was like, all right, then I'll go live because I didn't really have anything else. If I stayed out more, I've been spending more money. Okay, but you guys are helping me get back the money I just spent. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, hold on. Let's go to the next. I'm going to get to some of the callers, guys. I'm just going through what people have sent in super chats. Nicole, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. Nicole says, Wendy is always talking about how happy Eddie, the business, is always doing well, specifically the season premiere. So why the fraud? Because I don't know if you guys realize this too. I think that some people speculated this as well. Like, yeah, I don't think the business is doing as well as she is acting like it's doing. I think that's just a storyline. But the business could be doing well, and people are greedy, or people want to keep up with the Joneses. People want to have the bags because so many of you put pressure on these housewives. Oh, we want rich housewives. Production feels that they need to put pressure on the housewives to show more luxurious lifestyle. We don't necessarily get luxurious from Potomac ever. I'm trying to think of who's giving us luxury. Maybe Candace, when Candace does like her stuff, but that's about it. I did see Candace talked about this on one of these interviews that she did. And she was saying like, oh, this can't be a big deal. This is for $300. No, this is in excess of $300. So it could be $300 and more. So we don't, based on the burglary and how much they asked the insurance company for, could be a whole lot more. But when insurance companies get this stuff, do you guys think someone tipped off the insurance company? Because for them to see it on social media, even though I do believe in their investigations, these insurance companies, they're outside your house, they're following you allegedly, they're checking out your social media. Like that was less than smart if that is really what went down. So Nicole says, Wendy is always talking about how happy Eddie, the business, is always doing well. So why the fraud? Because maybe it's not doing so well. Again, that could be just a storyline. Thank you so much, T-Talkery girl. Let me shimmy. I know Eddie's parents is just iffing why they didn't want Eddie marrying Wendy. Shaking my head. I'm telling y'all, even if it's not if this was a plot that Eddie set up, I know his family are like, and see, there it is. See, there it is. That's exactly why we didn't want him involved with that woman. I still believe it was Wendy's mother that was the root of the issues, but that's me. Squirtle, thank you so much for the super chat. Squirtle says, from Zen Wen to Pen Wen. Squirtle, I appreciate this, but damn you. Not from Zen Wen to Pen Wen. Not Pen Wen. Can we just run with that? I'm never calling her Dr. Wendy anymore. Hey, Pen Wen. Now, then she's going to be like, you're mean. It's facts. I'm keeping that one. Squirtle, can I use it? But I will always cite my sources. I didn't originate it, but we're going to go with Pen Wen. I apologize. I'm missing all of your comments. I'm trying to read all the super chats, and right? Nelson did not Pen Wen. Hold on. What this says, sorry, it's funny. It is. Rusty says, I am flabbergasted. DB says, Penguin. We're running with it. We're running with it. Damn, people are so creative. Mary says, not Penguin. Sarah says, poetic. All right. We have quite a few super chats that I wanted to get through. So let me just get through these really quickly, guys, and we'll get to the callers. And then I'm going to go to dinner because I need to get something to eat because Penwen just sent me Squirtle. I'm using it. Okay. Thank you. And I appreciate the super chat. Abracadabra says, so I was waiting for you. This is what you do. Did they look high to y'all? And what do you think Eddie's family will say? They don't like Wendy. I think I just told you what I think that they will say. And they definitely look high in this picture. Because when Wendy's trying to not to look high, and that's how Eddie looks high. His eyes hang low. Wendy's trying not to look high. They definitely, which ain't nothing wrong with being high. I'm just saying I think they're high up their own supply. Happy Eddie. Thank you, Abracadabra. Wait, hold on. Oh, yeah, they don't like Wendy. Jen Zealous says Wendell and the dollar store Idris Elba. I don't think he's a dollar store Idris Elba, but maybe I guess he is. He's cute. He's a cute man. Not that picture though, where he looked high. Yamira, thank you so much for the super chat. Let me shimmy from a super chat. Is that Basquiat in your picture, Yamira? When I say Basquiat, I'm talking about Adriana's dog. And for those that are wondering when I'm going to release my Real Housewives of Miami recap, well, you see what I'm doing right now. I can't. I watched it already twice, but I can't get to it yet. Sorry. Yamari says she looks like Zen Wen in the mugshot. I hope they can clear this up because this is bad. I feel for their kids. I feel for the kids because the kids are old enough to see all of this. But then again, it's like, what are you teaching your kid? Again, this is if they did what they're being accused of. I'm not saying that they did, but the evidence is pretty damning. Tony, thank you so much for super chat. Tony says to preview for the next episode, they are getting new floors installed. They're going to incriminate themselves. Should have downgraded like Robin. Lord. And it's not like they even live in Potomac. They live in, I don't even know what neighborhood that is. They're like far. They talked about that before. Regina says, I think Wendy is high too. Looks like she's trying to appear. Look, I'll say, Regina, we see each other. It looks like she's trying to appear okay. So maybe that's why she was smiling and she couldn't just do, if she didn't smile, then she probably would have looked high. Maybe that's why she was smiling. Oof. Could not be me. Willie, thank you so much for the super chat. I didn't realize you guys were sending all these super chats and becoming members. Thank you guys. Willie says the chickens sure know how to come home and roost just at the right time. Signed, a Virgo. Waves at the Brooke Ashley. Hey girl. Brooke, you hear this? We might have to do a Ponderosa. Go live, y'all. Hold on. Cece, thank you so much for becoming a member. We appreciate your support. Kelani, thank you so much for being a member for 22 months, almost 2 years, looking like an extra from the movie Smile. Shaking my head. Damn. Gary's back. Gary says, this Labubu Gary, by the way. Oh, Labubu Gary. If y'all don't know and you weren't a part of our TikTok live, thank you, Gary. Now, thank you, Labubu Gary. You know my clothes came, but I'm away in regards to my Labubu. Thanks. Damn, Gary. That was hilarious, your previous one. Amaretto Cherry, thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate your support. And Dahomey says they say insurance fraud is the easiest to commit and the easiest to get caught. I just don't understand. Like, not all money's good money. Like, and again, stuff like this makes it harder for you guys when you actually have an insurance claim. This is why those rates end up being higher. Jay, thank you so much for the super sticker. We appreciate it. Jay, oh my God, I haven't seen Jay. Let me shimmy all the body. Jay sent a $50 super sticker. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. DB, thank you so much for gifting membership. If DB gifted you a membership, please say thank you. We appreciate that as well. If you did not get gifted a membership, you can still become a member at TeamKempire.com/join. I should just go do a members only live after this too. Kim, thank you so much for the super chat. Kim says, will this affect their Happy Eddie business? I don't think so. But then again, if they're convicted and they're now convicted felons, he definitely can't have his bar license. Hold on, where are my attorneys? Are my attorneys backstage? Hold on, yeah, we got an attorney backstage. I'm gonna prioritize our attorneys first, y'all. Coco, I see you, so stay locked. It might. I don't know if you can be a convicted felon and be able to be in that business. Can someone confirm? Jess says, all I know is Wendy's mom is going to be pissed. Allie, thank you so much for the super chat. Allie says insurance companies will sue each other for $5. Well, thank you for remembering too, Allie. Apparently they were watching her. April, thank you so much for the super chat. April says, as soon as I saw it, I thought, oh, Kempire is going to make a video. I was going to make a video, but I'm glad that I went live because there's just so much more to unpack and you guys are giving me so much more to consider. Then I remembered you were on vacation. I thought, you know what? He deserves a break. I appreciate you still thought of us. Thank you, April. Apparently, my peoples thought of me too because everybody was hitting me up. Thank you, Veronica. Let me shimmy for Veronica. You know, we shimmy for the dollars over here. Veronica says, hopefully this will humble Wendy. I only liked her the first season she was on, and after that, not so much. And that's the thing. I think a lot of people were saying that people want Wendy to be so humble. And I was like, I don't think anyone was saying that based off what we were talking about from the first episode. I don't need Wendy to be humble. I don't mind her feeling herself. But I do mind if you're trying to keep up with the Joneses and you are committing insurance fraud and then getting arrested and smiling like this and looking high as hell. Peyton says, thank you for the super chat, Peyton. Peyton says, I'm starting to think that Stacy snitched to take out the competition. Again, I don't know if you can be in the weed business and be a convicted felon, but I just don't see Stacy doing something like that. But you just never know. You never know. But I can appreciate a conspiracy theory, though. And again, shout out to Squirtle. She went from Zen Wen to Pen Wen. You know what? Wanda, thank you so much for super chat. Don't get high on your own supply. Wanda says, you know what, Wanda. Virgo, thank you so much for super chat. I'm not buying this all the way yet. I need more details. How does a lawyer and a doctorate fall into this? Greed or not? I agree with you. Again, these are just allegations. I don't know how long. Remember, this happened in April of last year in regards to the burglary. I don't know when they put in their claim, probably immediately. So I don't know if there's been like an ongoing investigation. I don't know if someone spilled that. Isn't that the ring she claimed that she didn't have? I don't know. I don't know how that works. But if you worked in this field before, if you've had something similar happen, explain to me, like, how long is this investigation? How long does it take to get your money? Did they get the money already? We got a couple of attorneys backstage that I'm going to prioritize them first to come up. So Esquires, please stay locked. You'll be the first ones that I bring up. C. Hardy, thank you so much for the super chat. C. Hardy says, Giselle is somewhere thankful for her stale wardrobe. Didn't have to steal to get it. Republic of Story, thank you for becoming a member. We appreciate your support. Dr. Miss Honey, thank you for the super chat. Dr. Miss Honey says, here I was trying to process why someone needs to buy a coffee maker for a Haitian mortgage. If you don't get it, that's Real Housewives of Miami. Wait. Here I was trying to process why someone needs to buy a coffee maker for a Haitian mortician. And here comes this news. I'm exhausted. See, if you're not watching Miami, you're not going to get that. But the people that get it, just let me know you get it in the chat. Let me know you get it in the chat. We will talk. I probably have to do that recap tomorrow, guys, because it's late already here. And I want to watch Real Housewives of Miami again and take notes because there's a lot to unpack. So I probably will do that at a special time tomorrow. People be people, and thank you so much for the super chat. People be people and says, I work for insurance. Thank you. As smart as they may be, they don't think like a criminal. Also, they probably done this before, and insurance got suspicious. AI tech can check photos, etc. See, that's the other element that we haven't thought about. And I know some people are against using artificial intelligence. Some of you don't realize a lot of these companies are automatically incorporating that in everything that we're using now. So I'm going to read this again because I think this is important to know. People be people in says, I work in insurance. As smart as they can be, they don't think like a criminal. Also, they probably done this before and insurance got suspicious. She's referring to the SFOs. AI tech can check photos, etc. Thank you, Creative Talent Productions, for the super chat. We appreciate your support. Vanessa, thank you so much for the super chat. Vanessa says, Kemp, the court docs say that they got emails as evidence. Thank you, Vanessa. They got emails as evidence, and while executing the search warrant, they found some of the claimed stolen items. Breaking news. So according to Vanessa, we're getting more details on Dr. Wendy Osefo and Eddie Osefo's arrest for fraud that stems from a burglary that happened back in April. Insurance. They claimed that these items were stolen. However, some of those items were bought and then returned. Some of those items were also viewed on social media. So according to Vanessa, she's saying that court docs now say that they got emails as evidence. And while executing the search warrant, they found some of the claimed stolen items. Girl, again, you should have been listening to, allegedly, Dorit. She didn't get those items back in her house? Damn, Vanessa, is that true? I have not seen the court documents, so I don't know if that's true, but I believe Vanessa. But in order for them to get a search warrant, and you still had the items in your house? Gigi says, good grief, fools. Gapeach says, oh my goodness. MC says, why leave a trail? Damn. All right. Damn, I didn't expect us to be here this long, but it's okay. We got 6,000 people here for the breaking news. If you're just joining us. We're unpacking Dr. Wendy Osefo and Eddie Osefo's arrest. Apparently, they got emails. They also found some of the claimed stolen items in the home. Thank you, Vanessa. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to save your comment just in case I need to refer back. Miss Sharon, Miss Sharon has been a member for 47 months. Please say thank you to her undying support here on the channel. Sharon says, I will wait until the facts come out. Could be a misunderstanding. I'm glad that you're giving grace. As we should. You're only guilty until, well, no, you're only innocent until proven guilty. Layla, thank you so much for becoming a member. We appreciate it. I might do a members only live, y'all. Stay tuned. Miss Goody Two Shoes says, the police report was likely the tip-off of the insurance company. Alarm never went off. Osefos had to call the police to get a report to file a claim. Thank you, Miss Goody. We're all piecing this information together as to how and why the Osefos are facing what they're facing. Police report was likely the tip-off for the insurance company. Alarm never went off. Osefos had to call the police to get a police report to file a claim. So was there ever really a burglary? Did someone actually do something in their home? Cece, thank you so much for the super chat. Cece says, hey, Kemp, I've been subscribed to you for years. Love me some Kempire. Also, I have zero sympathy for them. This is reckless and stupid. Thank you, Cece. I appreciate it. And thank you so much for being a member as well. Tony says, thank you for the super chat, Tony. Tony says, they're getting deported like Simon. Aren't they citizens? I don't know. Can y'all confirm? I believe they were born here, though. I know they're of Nigerian descent. Can y'all confirm? Did someone confirm in the chat? I can't remember now. Not they're going to get deported like Simon. I hope not. Oh, God. Because they have American children. Oh, my God, Tony. Tanya, thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate your support as well. Gossip Boss, thank you so much for gifting memberships. We appreciate your support. All right, we have a lot of super chats, but I'm almost done, and then we're going to get to the callers. Tamara, thank you so much for super chat. Tamara says, all those degrees. Wendy, you know they're going to have a field day. Those ladies. Ashley, if she's having a field day with Stacy right now, which a lot of us are like, girl, like, why is this such a big deal to you? She's going to have a field day with Wendy. Los, I'm not going to even try and say your name. I was going to say Los. Remember, high-end goods are trackable via serial numbers. That's why I'm so shocked that they would claim that they had these missing items and they had brought it to the store to return them for a full refund. That is some crookedness. Joe, thank you so much for the super chat. Joe says Wendy should have called Dorit for some tip. Did you send that again? Or did I just read that again? Maisha, thank you so much for another super chat. Oh, Maisha says court docs also say the alleged point of entry was not compromised. I appreciate that you guys are giving us more information because, like I said, this is a breaking story, so more details are coming out. So for those of you that are just joining us and you just got the top of what we talked about, this is more details. Court docs also say that the alleged point of entry was not compromised. No footprints, disturbance, or evidence. They suspected from the beginning, just had to build a case. What? That is a mess. Like, this is not good. Oh, thank you so much, Vanessa Kemp. I sent you the court docs via IG. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull them up because, you know, I'm away. So let me see if I can pull them up. And if I can find your message, please hold. Hold on, wait. There's an update? Okay. Lord have mercy. Let's see. Hold on. I see Janelle sent me something. Hold on. What Janelle say here? Oh, these are the comments. Wait, I'm trying to find the court docs that were sent to me. Please hold. Oh, there goes Vanessa's. Let me accept. Okay, shout out to Bravo Breaking News on Instagram. They got their hands on the court docs. Okay, we're gonna go through this. All right, apologies to everyone that's in waiting in queue. I want to go through these court docs. Shout out to our friends over at Bravo Breaking News on Instagram. They got their hands on the court docs. This is what the court docs say. And can someone just give me a timestamp? Can someone just do a timestamp that I'm reading the court docs here? And you can remind me later. Mod someone. Because I want to add timestamps later. Okay. Bravo Breaking News got the court docs. They said, this is what the court docs say. Now comes the state of Maryland by and through its attorney, Melissa O. Hoxton-Smith, deputy state attorney for Carroll County, and the state states the following. On Thursday, October 9th, 2025, the defendant was indicted by the grand jury for Carroll County on 7 counts of insurance fraud and 8 counts of conspiracy insurance fraud and 1 count of false statement to a police officer. An arrest warrant was issued and bail was set at $50,000. The allegations in this case are that on April 7th, 2024, Carroll County Sheriff's Office deputies responded to their address, Finnsburg in Carroll County, Maryland, for a call of a reported burglary. A deputy was met by homeowners, Edward and Wendy Osefo, who reported to him that they had left to go on a trip to Jamaica on April 2nd, 2024, and then they returned on April 7th, 2024, at approximately 10 p.m. They found their bedroom and both closets to be ransacked, and several designer bags and jewelry had been stolen. The state's evidence would show that the purported point of entry in the home to be the owner's bathroom window on the 2nd floor. The window looks onto a small roof that was about 9 feet above the deck. So did they allegedly have someone do that before they got home, or did they do that themselves? There were no ladders, so I'm assuming they did it themselves, or whoever they did this with had access to the home. There were no ladders, and the deck furniture was undisturbed, and no indication anyone had been on the deck. The Osefo stated that they did not touch anything prior to the police arrival. There was a screen with damage laying on the roof, and the window was not locked. To go in or out of the window, one has to step on the toilet. The toilet lid was down and had no debris on it. When the sheriff's office personnel stepped onto the roof and back into the home, they tracked roof grit back inside. The Osefos had an ADT system and a Ring camera. The Osefos activated the ADT alarm system upon leaving for vacation. During the time that they were away, there was no motion detected inside the residence. There was activity such as a package deliveries on the Ring camera that was monitored remotely by the Osefos. So did they do this all themselves? Hold the hell a minute. If they really did this themselves, guys, dum-dums, like, come on. Like, I'm not trying to say that y'all should be doing this, period. However, it sounds like y'all, oh my God. So the Osefos had an ADT system and Ring camera. The Osefos activated the ADT alarm system upon leaving for vacation. During the time that they were away, there was no motion detected inside the residence. There was activity such as package deliveries on the Ring camera that was monitored remotely by the Osefos. So you're telling me they came home and they were like this, moving stuff? Or did they move stuff beforehand? Oh, well, no, because some of the stuff that they claimed that they lost, they had already brought back to the store and got a full refund for. Oh, Lord have mercy. So what did they do with the other stuff, y'all? What did they do with the other stuff? Is that why they went to Jamaica? Did they leave it somewhere in Jamaica with someone that they know? I don't know. I'm speculating. Okay, so the investigation determined that on April 8th, the Osefos, in April 8th, 2024, the Osefos initiated 3 separate insurance claims for the burglary and theft: traveler's insurance, jeweler's mutual insurance, and home site insurance company for the alleged losses suffered while they were away. Edward Osefo gave recorded statements to 2 of the insurance companies regarding a list of stolen items he provided. He was asked whether any of the items on the list had been returned, which he denied. He was asked whether any of the items that were on the list that had been returned. He denied. Shout out to the Bravo Breaking News for getting these court documents, because this is very insightful. He was asked whether any of the items on the list had been returned, which he denied. He was asked if he had other insurance, but failed to disclose to home site and jewelers that he was also making a claim with the traveler's insurance. You don't think that this is all connected in this world? Like everything is tracked. I'll say they were just dumb with it. They were just dumb. So he was asked if he had other insurance, but failed to disclose to the home site and jewelers that he was also making a claim with the travel insurance. So they were trying to get in money for things probably double for the amount of things that they lost. For home site, both Edward and Wendy Osefo signed a sworn statement of loss, which was notarized. The total amount of loss claimed on the sworn statement of loss was $2,500 for the building and $450,000 estimated for contents, personal property. So like almost $500,000. He included an inventory of reported stolen items along with receipts for the purchase of most of the items on the inventory. That claim was denied due to failure to disclose the policy with the traveler's insurance. So in the original claim submitted on April 8, 2024 to travelers, Eddie confirmed that he and his wife were wearing their anniversary bands when the loss occurred. However, Edward called traveler's insurance on April 10th and said that he needed to update their claim, stating that his wife's gold diamond anniversary band was missing. Oh, so they were just dumb with it, y'all. That same day, Travelers Insurance settled the claim for $25,380, which included the replacement price of the band, $4,500. After the initial reported claim on April 11, 2024, both Wendy and Edward signed and submitted letters to Jewelers Mutual Insurance claiming that the burglary occurred and items were reported stolen. At the request of Jewelers Mutual Insurance, the Osefos provided an initial list of 57 stolen items. Included on the list was Wendy's gold diamond anniversary band that was reported in the traveler's insurance claim. So they were double dipping, basically. On April 22nd, 2024, Edward was interviewed during a recorded call and did not make any mention of the jewelry claim or payout with travelers. OMG. On April 22nd, Happy Eddie, was interviewed during a recorded call and did not make any mention of the jewelry claim or payout with travelers. His insurance, his bar license. I mean, the streets have been saying he doesn't use it anyway, but it's good as gone. Right, Esquires that are backstage? I'm bringing you guys up in just a second. As y'all can see, we have breaking details in regards to this Wendy and Eddie Osefo arrest. Why does this feel like deja vu? Did I see this coming? Is this That's So Raven? Sorry. Deputies were suspicious of the circumstances of the burglary and records from the stores where some of the items were purchased, along with social media and email accounts. Investigation determined that numerous items that the Osefos claimed were stolen had been purchased and returned to the store, where a full refund was provided prior to the alleged burglary. These items were valued in the excess of $20,000. Now I have more questions for why Wendy has stopped working with her current stylist. I'm just going to drop that little nugget out there. I have more questions. For example, there was a Dior shirt that was listed as stolen, valued at $1,450, but the shirt was returned on January 14th, 2023 for a refund, and a Gucci leather wallet that was purchased in 2018 and returned 2 weeks later for a refund of $948.70. This is stemming way back. Additionally, while reviewing the social media Instagram account for Wendy Osefo, deputies observed photos of Wendy prior to the burglary wearing a diamond anniversary band on her left finger. Damn, they were just sitting here watching you, Wendy. They were sitting here watching you. Okay, so they said that this ring was reported stolen in the burglary. Then after the reported burglary on April 27, 2024, Wendy is wearing the same ring on her left finger. The ring features multiple rows of diamonds and has a V shape on the side that separates where the rows of diamonds begin. Do you think that Wendy's going to go to BravoCon? I mean, she's contractually obligated, I'm sure. Ooh. That ring had been photographed prior to the burglary for an appraisal and matches the photo of the ring on April 27, 2024. Deputies obtained email records for the Osefos on April 12, 2024. Edward emailed the list of reportedly stolen items to Wendy. The email asked if there were, quote, additional high-value items we can add to this inventory listing, i.e. Chanel shoes, etc. I'm trying to get the total to exceed $423,000, which is our policy maximum. So this was an email. Hold on, I got to reread this again, guys. The email asked if there were additional high-value items we can add to this inventory listing, i.e. Chanel shoes, etc. I'm trying to get the total to exceed $423,000, which is our policy maximum. At the time of their arrest, a search and seizure warrant was executed to the Osefos' home. And deputies found, oh Lord, y'all. If I was in the studio, I would play a drum roll. At the time of their arrest, a search and seizure warrant was executed for the Osefos' home, and deputies found at least 15 items that appear to be the same ones claimed stolen during the alleged burglary. Investigation revealed that the Osefos to be burdened by substantial debt. Lord, oh damn, they're being exposed. So they're saying that not only are they committing fraud, they're also saying that they are in debt. So the claims that Wendy has, oh, the Happy Eddie business is doing extremely well, we're doing very well, blah. According to the court docs, it said investigation, number 11 says the investigation revealed that the Osefos to be burdened by substantial debt. Whew. Eddie and Wendy conspired to make fraudulent statements and provided misleading information in support of making the 3 insurance claims for financial gain. Wherefore, the state respectfully requests the bail remain the same, $50,000 each. Whoa. Shout out to our friends over at the Bravo Breaking News for these details. I'm going to save these details because I think I'm going to need them for later, because this is some crazy mess. And as I do this, thank you all for being here. If you haven't liked the video already, mods, can you tell me how many likes that we should get to? I don't know how many likes that we're currently at. Look, I got to say things for future reference. Add this to the Wendy and Eddie Osefo court filing, because this is going to end up going to court. I wonder if they're going to plead guilty or do like a plea deal. Don't do what Karen did. You saw they threw the book at them. Don't do what Karen did. All right. Apologies to those of you that have been waiting so patiently behind the scenes. I have quite a few super chats, but I'm going to get to those after I take a couple of callers. I'm going to prioritize some of our attorneys that are waiting backstage. Are they still waiting backstage? Oh, yeah, there's Coco. I'm going to bring up Coco first, but I want to say this before we bring up our trusty attorneys. What they're providing for us is not legal advice. Also, the opinions of the callers do not represent the opinions of myself, the Kempire LLC, or our sponsors, and everything that they say is alleged and of their own opinion. Okay, now that I got that out the way, let me bring up Coco Esquire. Coco Esquire, thoughts on this breaking news?
First, whoever sent you those court docs, like, bless it in the name of the Lamb. This is crazy. And I want to just start out by saying criminality is a mental illness. It has nothing to do with how educated you are. And so folks are disappointed that a doctor and a lawyer are in court. Child, go around a federal prison and see how many highly educated people are in prison because they think they know everything and they figured out a way to manipulate the system, and ultimately they've been caught. When this first came across my feed, I believed every single word because I recognized they'd already been indicted in order for them to have been arrested. And what that means is that they took evidence and presented it to a grand jury in order for them to demonstrate and that's the government to prove that they have likely done the things of what they have been accused of. And this investigation has been going on for a long time, and it makes so much sense to me. That is exactly why Wendy's always, Happy Eddie's doing so good. Girl, well, where is it? I ain't seen nothing about Happy Eddie. I've not seen anybody with the Happy Eddie shirt. You've offered the viewers nothing to demonstrate that. But yet she's always throwing that in because she thinks she's the smartest in the room. And amongst that group, maybe she can rely on her PhD, but I've never been impressed by it. But all of my friends have PhDs and JDs and MDs and MB. Like, it doesn't make you better than anyone. But I believe every single word. Eddie's going to absolutely be disbarred. I want to point out that you don't have to be convicted to be disbarred. There's a different evidentiary standard in a criminal proceeding that's beyond a reasonable doubt. And so if a defense lawyer can kind of make folks wonder, well, maybe he didn't do it. Well, that's doubt, and maybe he won't be convicted. But the bar holds you to a clear and convincing standard, which means, you probably did do this. And that's what will result in the loss of a license, because you have to have competence to be an attorney, and you have to have the character, and candor, truthfulness, and honesty is the most surefire way for a lawyer to lose their license.
Like I said, he's not using his license, so I wouldn't be shocked if it doesn't bother him.
Yeah. This is crazy, but it explains so much about Wendy to me. She's always read as very, very, very insecure. I've always wondered, as a person that does use their license, as a person that went to the best law school in Washington, D.C., and is a San Francisco Bay Area corporate attorney that does well, I can't afford to have 3 or 4 Birkin bags. Let's talk about it. People that are educated and go to work and are W-2 employees like myself, we don't have Birkin bags. We may have a little Gucci. We may go on a little vacation here and there, but we're not living the lives of the folks in Beverly Hills who are capitalists and entrepreneurs.
I think people also assume that a lot of these housewives have fakes.
I mean, and maybe they do, but if you put on your insurance claim form that you have Birkin, see, I'm convinced that you need to be in the center when you make these type of claims. Hello? Like, lost my engagement ring, a little zhuzh, some china that my auntie had was in the cabinet. They done took the china. You talking about you got all these Birkins and you got all this, that, and the third. It is not ordinary for regular people to have that. I want to point out, Wendy is a professor at a very, very remarkable institution, but the professors don't make a ton of money.
She was.
And she was, girl, why'd you quit that job, girl? I was wondering why she would quit it. When professors are millionaires, it's because they've partnered with industry in order to render their expertise to advance a commercial cause. It's not because you prophesizing in front of some students. That doesn't make you wealthy.
Yeah.
And so what likely happened is this is an unusually large claim. You've already indicated it was right at the max of their limits. Red flag. The biggest thing that insurance companies are working to do, child, is not to pay y'all claims out. So you go in there, you want $425,000? Well, that could bankrupt the insurance company if everybody just, puts out these types of claims. So they're going to scrutinize that more heavily than they would if, child, you just asked for $15,000 and gone on about your business. But they got greedy, and it's because she's living a life that I know I couldn't afford. And I have, I'm right in the smack. I'm not like a public interest, like who's not doing well, but I can't afford that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
My thing is, when you look at the court docs, it's sort of like, so you guys did this yourself. You got back from Jamaica, and then you went into the room and you set this all up, or it was weeks in the making, because then you also have to get rid of the items. Like, where did you hide some of those items that you ended up bringing back into the home?
I wonder where they hid it, but I think they've been thinking about this to try to figure out how they can get out of some of this debt. And I think it's because they think that they're smarter than everyone else, which is how most criminals think, from the most simple, low-level crimes to the highest. And these white-collar criminals tend to be educated folks. So, the idea that just because you're educated makes you better or more smarter, or we really have to push back on how elitist we are as a society. Like, people are people, irrespective of their academic credentials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Coco, we always appreciate you weighing in. So thank you so much for giving us some of that legal perspective as well. I'm going to try and get to some of these calls because our backstage is full.
Yeah, y'all have a good one. Thanks for the time, Kemp, and thanks for your excellent reporting. And I love this community. Y'all just, this is insane. I love it for us. Entertainment. Bye, y'all.
Take care. Ms. Esquire, I know you're in the chat, so if you want to call in, I will prioritize you when you call back in. I know that the backstage is full, but if you're a member of the channel, I've already dropped the call-in link on the post tab on YouTube. And if you're a Twitch follower, I'm going to drop the call link for you guys as well. I shouldn't be dropping the call link because literally our backstage is full. So I'm going to get to some calls. Callers, short and shady. Please, short and shady, so that way we're able to get to everyone. I like to try to get to everyone, but not going to always be possible. Let me bring up Cynthia next. Cynthia, what did you want to share?
Hi, Kempire. How you doing?
Well, how are you?
I'm good. Oh, my God. I'm shocked, Kempire. My fellow Igbo sister. My Igbo sister. Oh, Nigerians. We meet for Wendy. Kempire, I live in Maryland. Yes. I live in Howard County, and Wendy lives in Carroll County. Carroll County is, let me just say, it's Trump County.
Oh.
Yeah, they're very there. RACIST, yeah.
Did not know that.
Yes. I'm, Kempire, I'm an RN. I was actually a nurse at that jail.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
2012.
Okay.
Yeah. Returning a Gucci bag in 2018 and listing it as a item that was stolen is nasty work. I am so embarrassed for Wendy and Eddie. And do you think she's gonna
kids? Remember
those kids too? Do you think she's gonna go to BravoCon?
Say again?
Do you think she's gonna go to BravoCon?
Would you?
My Nigerian pride, no.
But I think she contractually might be obligated, but I don't know. I don't know. Well, I guess that might be her get out of free card, because she's just been indicted, she can't leave the state.
What about? Oh, yep. Oh, I didn't think about that, Kempire. And what about the reunion? Do you think she'll come to the reunion?
She's gonna have to come to the reunion. I mean, she don't have to, but I don't know. I really don't know.
Bring back NECA.
NECA's been trying to, she's been hanging around.
All right. At least you live in Potomac. But Kempire, thanks so much for the commentary. Have a good one, community. Take care, Kempire. Bye.
All right. Let's bring up Janelle next. Janelle, I saw you sent me something, but I didn't get to really get into it. What's going on, Janelle?
Bonjour, Kempire. Listen, it was just me tagging you in IG stories.
Okay.
Tagging you and Brooke Ashley for Alive.
Oh,
okay. I know that you were embracing the luck of the Irish, not knowing you were in Amsterdam because I wasn't on the interwebs yesterday, but you all over the place because you blessed and highly favored. But my God, what is going on?
Look, I'm not defrauding anyone to do it either.
Let me tell you something.
Keep sending the super chats, y'all.
Keep sending the super chats because Kempire has to be able to come back to the country if he wants to. Okay? No, keep sending the super chats because you know what my new middle name gonna be? It's gonna be I ain't got it. I ain't got it. If somebody like, oh, let's go on this trip, I ain't got it. If I can't pay for it with cash, I ain't got it. Oh, let's buy this necklace. I ain't got it. Nope. Nope. I'm gonna pay my taxes and my business. Please, no, thank you. Okay, first off, I am gagged. I'm gagged because of those photos. Because Eddie, what's going on? What is that face? I mean, let me tell you something. I know what people look like when they're high on marijuana. Mm-hmm. That don't look like it, but maybe it's just.
Oh, what do you mean? What you saying?
What you mean? What I'm just saying? I can't say you. Listen. I listened to the Humble Brag podcast episode that featured you. Allegedly can only save you so far. Okay, darling.
That's true.
That's all I'm gonna say. Is yes. That's all I'm gonna say. If you read between the lines, read in between the lines. Okay, it don't make any sense. But also what I sent you was a screenshot of the comment section under Queens of Bravo because people be doing too much and it made me cackle. And I'm just gonna say a few because I know you got other callers in the line. A comedian, London Hughes, who I do follow on Instagram. She's really funny. She's Black and she's British. She's from London, but now she's in the States. She kept refreshing TMZ. Told Queens of Bravo it was insurance fraud. And Queens of Bravo said, thank you for your service. But then afterwards, someone wrote, Karen did candles. Wendy did candles. Karen did jail. Wendy does.
You know what? Goodbye.
And then I will end on this. At this point, they will just film a Housewives season in prison. It's hilarious. But I'm praying for those kids because these kids did not ask for this. But I think they'll take a plea deal to avoid jail time, get probation, and pay restitution. That is my thought because it looks like they're guilty. Because you couldn't even add some debris to the house to make it look like it was somebody else. They should have called Doreen. Okay, bye.
Bye, Janelle. Guys, if you haven't already, be sure to like the video. Mods, did we do a timestamp? Did you guys save a timestamp for when I was reading the court docs? Just want to make sure because I want to be able to add the timestamps later for those that are watching the replay of this. We appreciate you guys. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to share the video. We will also be posting the audio of this on the Kempire podcast. If you're not subscribed to the Kempire podcast, what are you doing? We don't just upload some of our live recaps. We also upload exclusive episodes, including our Club Kempire. Thank you so much, Assets. Someone send it to me, DM it to me, so that way I can do it after the live. I am traveling, as you guys can see. I'm not in my studio, but we are still talking about the breaking news where Wendy Osefo from the Real Housewives of Potomac and her husband have been arrested and charged with multiple felonies and misdemeanor for lying to a police officer, for fraud, all kinds of things. All right, so I see Miss Esquire's backstage. I want to bring Miss Esquire up first because I want to get the legal opinion. Miss Esquire.
Oh my goodness. Probably end up again on the Housewives to prison pipeline so early. One comes out and looks like one is going in. That is, oof. It's a talent. It's just not one anybody wants.
Nope.
So I'm going to approach this as I would as a defense attorney, because I think the first Coco Esquire did a really great job of talking about like sort of what the state put in place.
Yeah.
So when you think about how would you defend yourself, first I want to remind everybody allegations from the police are just that, they're allegations from the police. And we have to always remember that we should be suspicious of the state and the power that they can wield over us as a citizenry, right? And we should treat all their allegations with suspicion because they have not been proven yet. Also, an indictment, much like we have seen with Letitia James recently and
Mm.
James Comey, indictments are not themselves any finding of guilt. They are a substantiation to a certain degree of what evidence has been presented to a court and to a jury of your peers under a sealed process where they did not get to defend themselves. So you need to understand what happened in the grand jury position, although it's a state grand jury, not a federal grand jury. What happened was they went in with their evidence that they collected, they presented it to a grand jury, and a grand jury found that there was a basis to charge them. They did not get to present their defense. They did not get to question witnesses, none of that, right? So, again, these are still all allegations, and we need to give them their presumption of innocence. Having said that, though, the evidence based on the charging document does look really damning, especially if they found some of the same items that were alleged to have been stolen in that home. Now,
15.
if it seems, now what I am thinking is,
No, I
first of
said,
all,
I'm sorry, Mrs. I have 15 items.
yeah, 15 items. And I would imagine that they have compared serial numbers, that these are not dupes, that there's not going to be a defense to be said, oh, we bought new items with the monies that we purchased, or we bought dupes of the items. These are not the same items. The police and the prosecutor's office have to be smarter than that. So I am going to assume that these are the same items. That is really damning. That is going to be really difficult to defend. Like some soft insurance fraud, which I know sounds crazy to say soft insurance fraud, but there is sort of soft insurance fraud that happens, right? Where you mistakenly make a claim that you didn't mean to claim. Like that happens sometimes where people think, okay, I got homeowners insurance and I got my auto insurance. Like you might have something stolen out of your car that is of high value, right? And you think, okay, I got auto insurance to cover that. But also you might have an umbrella policy with your home that covers your garage. So if it was stolen
Mm.
out of your car while it was at your home, you might think, oh, I can make both of these claims because I have policies that cover both of these things. People do that and they have no malicious intent when they do that, right? I think again, the problem here is that there were several times where they were asked by insurance companies, were they making duplicative claims? And they did not answer in the affirmative. And that is a problem. And the reason why insurance companies ask that question to tell so that you can tell them affirmatively is because they want you to be aware, like, hey, if you've made a claim with us, you may be barred from making a claim with another insurance company, even though you have that policy, because they don't want people to unintentionally commit insurance fraud.
Mm.
But those are not the type of claims where there is that sort of innocent mistake. That typically is not what will result in you getting a felony charge. So, and there's somebody just said, and Eddie is a lawyer, so he would understand these distinctions. He would
Mm.
understand the questions he was being asked. And so it's hard for me to give him the benefit of the doubt. But when I'm imagining what their defense could be, I'm imagining, are they going to be able to say that these were replacement items? Are they going to be able to say they had duplicative items of some of the things that were stolen, dupes, so to speak? Are they going to be able to say that these were innocent mistakes with no malicious intent? And does the statute even require intent? Because some fraud statutes don't require specific intent, right? You don't have to intend to have defrauded to actually have defrauded. Now, typically at a felony level, and somebody who's barred in Maryland is going to have to correct me on this because I ain't barred there, and I say that all the time. I'm barred in my little 6 states, and that's it. So
Yes.
um, they contiguous to each other, so that's the only reason. But if the fraud statute does not require intent, then that may be helpful, that may be hurtful to them, right?
Mm.
If it does not require you to have intent, then it's basically like the law doesn't care whether you intended to break the law. You're guilty if you did it. but if the law requires intent, then you've got an ability to put forward a defense to say, maybe we did do this thing you're saying we did, but we didn't meet the intent element of it. And so you can't fully punish us for it. Those are the kind of defenses that they could put forward. I don't know, based on the facts that they've been alleged, that they're going to have a great defense to put forward. Now, what are the consequences of insurance fraud? Coco Esquire has already talked about the impact to Eddie's licensure. And yes, the bar has a completely different standard for disbarring someone for alleged criminal activity than what would happen in a judicial proceeding. It's not even remotely the same thing, right? You don't have to be convicted of it. Typically, a conviction is what they want, because there's a lot of lawyers who unfortunately are alleged to have done things and then they're able to show their innocence. So sometimes they don't go as far to disbar you. They may just, give you some other disciplinary action. I think Eddie cares about that. Nobody goes to law school and does not care about their licensure being taken. The reputational harm alone is terrible, but then it forecloses your ability to have that career if you want it. So I think he would care about that. But it's not just his bar license. If they are convicted of this, they will have a difficult time getting personal insurance in the future, of
Mm.
getting commercial insurance for any of their businesses, for getting loans personally, for their homes, for their mortgages. They can have an issue getting financing for any businesses. If they ever ran a not for profit, they would have a difficult time being able to be the executive directors of a not for profit, because once you show that you are capable of fraud, any position that requires to you to have, like, be over trust accounts, financial accounts, or just have to be a trustworthy person in general, you have a difficult time having those kind of roles. You can't apply for a lot of grants if you have felonies, particularly felonies related to fraud. Like, anybody who has had like check cash and fraud, anything like that, knows it forecloses a lot of opportunities for you. It's hard to do business with any kind of government, state or federal, when you have those kind of charges. It's just a really impactful kind of charge, outside of it affecting you, like in the criminal context, you having to disclose your criminal background. There are fraud registries that you have to register for, and your name is placed on, that insurance companies across the world will check. So it's not even though you can hop and skip across the world sometimes. If you have fraud in the United States, you can go get financing somewhere else.
And then I think to myself, when it comes to when they have to do international trips, will that be affected for her?
Well, I don't know that this type of felony charge impacts their passport.
Okay.
I just don't know that. I would love somebody who does more immigration related work to say
Mm,
so, but I
mm,
don't know that. I think they are citizens, so it shouldn't impact obviously their citizenry. If they were not, my God, under this administration, I'd be worried about them. Um, it's just a very, like, the thing I worry about is all the opportunities that it forecloses for you, because
mm,
also people just reputationally don't want to be associated with somebody who's committed fraud, especially if you're not white. Okay.
mm,
Because we've seen a lot of white people be able to commit fraud, the Jordan Belforts of the world, and have movies like Wolf of Wall Street made about them, and they go on to write books and do tours, and they get to talk about their redemption path. And you
mm,
don't always see the opposite, when it comes to us. The bar is a lot higher. So I just am really concerned about, if they take a plea, they would have to plead down to a misdemeanor. And maybe they can get the prosecutor's office to get them to agree to a plea down to the misdemeanors. Because if they are misdemeanors, while there's still impact, it's not as high of an impact if it's felonies. Um, if they plead, though, there's not always the opportunity to expunge it off your record once you have done, your case. Like, sometimes expungement rights are limited when you have a plea deal, as opposed to when you're found guilty, you serve your time. So I don't know. But like Coco, I am not shocked. They are exactly the profile of a white collar crime,
mm,
a white collar criminal. People
mhm,
have to understand there are prisons, federal and state, across this country that are filled with highly educated people who manipulated systems to their benefit. And their education actually works against them, as Coco said, because it gives them hubris to think that they can navigate these laws and be above them. So, but I am going to give them every presumption of innocence that I possibly can, because they are owed that. And as a Black person in America, I don't trust the justice system. So I'm going to take all of the allegations with, a look of suspicion, but they are very damning based on
mm.
the documents you read. So yeah, I just wanted to add that.
Thank you. Oh, but
You're welcome.
as a non-lawyer, what would you say?
Baby, let me tell you something. The shade of it all, the shade of it all. Let me tell you, because Wendy has set up on a real high horse, baby. That platform she built for herself is really high. And my how the mighty can fall from such a high place. I just the person who I want to read this situation down like hooked on phonics is Karen. Baby, I want
Mm.
Karen in her best wig, sitting there in her softest voice to read her into oblivion. Because what do you mean you are on here with your lace front wig with all smiles because you got a fraud charge? What is going on? It is. I'm so first of all, I'm real confused by that wig in general. I don't know why we have that piece in the front. That should have been slicked back. But girl, you got to have a jail time wig if you doing jail time things. Like
Oh God.
we got to have, did we learn nothing from Karen? We got to have a jail time wig sewn down if we gonna do jail time things. Um, the shade of it all is just that I also think that it's just Bravo really does need to build their own like prison system at this point. Because what is this pipeline that they have established? I don't understand, but I don't know. I'm trying not to laugh too much because Wendy, comma PhD, she's a Black African woman who is well accomplished. I want to see her do well. I want Eddie to do well. They have a beautiful family. And it's just like Coco was saying, like, I always look at these people. I try not to be suspicious of Black wealth because I think that's inherently
Mm.
racist. I think it's
Mm.
inherently racist when people are suspicious of Black wealth. Having said that, I know what I make in my living, and I know what is possible for me to have based on my standard of living. And I have two kids. And I'm like, oh, Bravo must be paying you a real pretty penny because you are living really well in a highly expensive area of the country. So I don't know. I
Mm.
don't know.
Mr.
More,
Score, we always appreciate when you call in.
yeah, keep me on the docket, baby, because we're gonna be following this case.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Thank you so much for calling in. Have a good night. Or good evening. Good
Bye.
day. Because it's nighttime here in Amsterdam. I am still away. If you're just joining us, we had the breaking news that Wendy Osefo and Eddie Osefo were arrested for multiple charges. She had 16, he had 18 for fraud. It's connected to the alleged burglary that they had in their home. Apparently, the information against them is pretty damning. But I really love what Ms. Esquire said because she took it from a perspective. She is also an attorney, a defense attorney perspective. And I was like, you know what? I appreciate that perspective. We try to be, we try to be open-minded here. I know despite what some people might think. All right, let's get to the rest of the calls. Callers, again, I implore you, shout out to all of you for being members. I appreciate your support. Members, the call link is on the post tab. Live chat, we have nearly 7,000 people here watching on multiple platforms. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, you should. You should also follow us on Twitch. Apparently, Twitch streams in great quality, both video and audio. So follow me there, twitch.tv/TheKempire. And make sure you are subscribed and make sure you like the video. Moz, can you just let me know how many likes that we've gotten to based on the 7,000 people that are here? We should be at like 7,000, but it's okay. And we've been live for almost 2 hours. So let me get to the calls. Callers, please keep it short and shady. That way we're able to get to everyone. If not, that means I'm going to have to end the live early because I need to go eat. Okay. We have O'Shea backstage. O'Shea, what did you want to share about this breaking news?
Hey, Kempire. Not Kiana's edit is about to be saved. So shout out to her. They're editing down in that room right now. She's about to be saved. So shout out to her. And I see now why Giselle will be one of the last people standing on this earth. She, you know what? But I'll, just as much as I dislike her, I will say she's never tried to keep up with the Joneses. She comes with her tight clothes, with the, with the wigs, with everything. But you see, it's important to do so because now you give up your professor job to be a baddie on TV, and you have what now? And the last thing I'll say is, Dorit, my dear, one day is one day. One day is one day. I hope you have your papers in order because karma works like that. Wendy and them have been doing this now allegedly for some time, so don't worry, my dear, your time will come. But thanks, Empire. I hope you have a nice holiday. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, O'Shea. All right. Okay, let me bring up Elijah next. Thank you guys so much again for waiting so patiently behind the scenes. Elijah, what did you want to share about this breaking news?
Hey, Kempire.
Hey,
I hope you're enjoying your vacation, by the way.
thank you.
What I want to say is this. First of all, I just seen a video. Miss Big Face Mia is now. She's laughing about it and she's like kikiing about it, and
Are
she
you,
is.
you
Yeah,
just saw
she's
a
like.
video like that?
Yeah, she's on TikTok live with a blog, I think, and she's talking about it. She's already making jokes, and she's next, so she needs to stop playing because with all the weird stuff going on with her and Gordon's businesses, I think she needs to chill. But she's talking about it and laughing about it and all that. I want to say a couple things, right? First of all, I really hope that her and Eddie don't go to Sing Sing, like Karen said. And also, I think that for me personally, I am just in shock. Like I seen it and I didn't believe it. I literally thought that it was AI. I thought that it was fake. And I just didn't think that they could be so, I'm sorry, but dumb. Like I just think it's really, and you have kids, you have minor kids that you're not thinking about offer wealth. And I'm really hoping that in some way, shape, or form, there's some saving grace here. What I will say is though, what I'm really wondering at the end of this, because I'm sure it's true, because we've seen many people try to keep up with, what I'm wondering is if she's gonna come back to the show. What I
Mm,
will say is I think that Bravo might want to film her, but I don't know. I just think that if let's say they do fire her because of this, to me, that would bother me though, because I feel like if we have people like Karen, because we can say that what they did was wrong, but Karen
yeah,
almost she could have took someone's life 4 times. So
yeah.
to me, that's outweighing someone frauding, and obviously it's still wrong. But my point is, if Karen gets her job, I think Wendy gets her job now. Out of pride, I don't think she's gonna come back, probably because she's not gonna want to get made fun of and all these different things. And another thing I will say is none of this means we want NECA. She was born with or without Wendy. Okay, so she can stay over there. And just because someone is staying friends with the cast after they leave the show does not mean they're genuine. It means they want to. It's like Kiara, you know what I mean? It's like they literally showed a flashback of her on the show. I think season 5 it was. So it's like, we can't be so gullible to think these people are just, so genuine. And I'm praying for their families. And the smiles were devious. And I'm just hoping that, with that being said, I will say this though. I really don't want to see nobody like, oh, Giselle's vindicated, Ashley's vindicated, Nick is vindicated. Because to be vindicated, you have to accuse somebody of said thing or have said something of that nature. And their bullying and the way they treated Wendy and Candace and other girls that, even the way they acted with Monique at times, like none of that, two things can be true. And that's what I want people to remember. Two things can be true. But I'm sorry, I feel so bad for her. And wait, and real quick, someone said that this professor, they said her tagline next season should be, this professor doesn't just set the bar, she stands behind it. I'm like, oh, anyway.
You know what? Goodbye, Elijah. Oh my gosh. Really? Not Penguin. Anyway. Okay, let me get to the again calls. I said short and shady. I appreciate all the commentary, but there is a long line backstage. Toya, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire, you can't even enjoy your damn vacation. Oops, sorry. You can't enjoy your vacation.
I know.
I'm like, I know you were probably out sightseeing, and then all of a sudden you had to run back to your hotel. But thank you. We appreciate you. We appreciate you very much. Penguin is diabolical. Those smiles very much look like that movie smile, and it's not, the Thriller. No, stop. Take it off the screen. And the wig. Oh Lord. I want to know, how were they arrested? Did they have to go in for questioning, and then were they arrested, or did they get arrested at home in front of their kids?
Ooh.
Um, I was agreeing with Miss Esquire. Shout out to her. I wanted to know. I was ready to put on my fake defense attorney hat and ask, did they buy dupes? Most people buy dupes for traveling. Did they just go out and purchase everything? Did they double check the serial numbers? Is what I want to know. Police make mistakes, but it's a lot. It's a lot. But these people who break into houses, they do it a lot in LA, and they seem to not get caught. So I don't know. These people like professionals. So who
Well, remember,
knows?
listen to the court documents. According to the court documents, it seemed as if there was no sign of breaking into the point of entry that they're claiming. So then there was that. But again, that's what the police are
Yeah,
reporting.
and how did they get, like, they climbed the ladder to get into the second floor bathroom
There was no
window? But also, you have to remember, sometimes it be your own people. It could have been an inside job. It could have been, you know what I mean?
apparently
And
according to the ADT system, there was no activity in the house.
but remember, Miss
Well,
Beyonce's mom house got, she was going through a divorce, might have had some haters. Who knows? Who knows? But anything could happen. But
I'm just pointing out what
also,
the court doc said.
huh?
I'm just pointing out what the court doc said.
Okay, yes. But did you see Candace's response? So Candace was on the news, I don't know, I think promoting her podcast or something, and she was asked about it, and she was saying it could have been a takedown because they're in the cannabis industry. But it's crazy. It's shocking. Okay, that's it for me. Thank you.
Thanks, Toya.
Bye-bye.
I mean, it sounds like a similar claim that they had against Diddy when they were saying the alcohol industry was trying to take him down too. So it could be all of that. We're keeping an open mind, innocent until proven guilty. Angel's backstage. Angel W's backstage. Angel, what did you want to share in regards to this breaking news?
Hey, Kempire, happy Friday. This is some early tea for me in California. I was like, what in the what? And if American Greed comes back, this is an episode, child, because this is when greed and Delulu take over. How are you so book smart, but you are that game goofy where you don't realize that you're leaving a paper trail? You guys are sending emails to each other talking about let's boost numbers. As an accountant, this is red flag. You guys might have alleged tax debt because as a contracted employee, you get all your money and you're supposed to set your taxes aside. And if you're spending it before you get it and you're trying to keep up with every Mo, Bo, and Ari, like, what the heck, Wendy? Like, oh my God, like, you are jeopardizing your cannabis license in multiple states that you're talking about. Happy Eddie's doing all this. You're jeopardizing your legal license. University will look at her like you're breaking code of ethics. We will not touch you with a 10-foot pole. So, and then your children, if you guys go to jail at the same time, are you expecting your elderly mother or your sister to take your kids in or open your children up to a CPS investigation? Like, where were your smarts in this situation? And in the words of Charlemagne the God, like, did you do your jail math? Like, did you think about when you get caught, is this worth everything we're risking? Like, I cannot. And then I heard Janelle and what she said, but based off of a person who is California sober and their mugshots, Eddie's on that indica and Wendy's on that sativa, and that's why they have different looks. And somebody please give Wendy a wig strap because we know she ain't got access to glue in that mugshot. But I think the mugshots were probably taken after they were already in custody for a while. They probably got swooped up in their pajamas, and that's why they're in the matching prison outfits for their mugshots.
Lord. All right. Angel, thank you so much for calling in.
Bye, Kim. Have a good one. Thank you for going live too. Appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks, Angel. All right. Before we get to more callers, I have quite a few super chats I want to say thank you for. Hold on. Thank you, Vanessa, for another thank you so much, Vanessa, for another super chat and for sending the court docs. They were quite telling. So thank you so much for that. Tamara, thank you so much for super chat. She says, what is so shocking is that Wendy prides herself on being the example. Squirtle, thank you for the pen win and for the super chat. Squirtle says Wendy works closely and lives by many lawyers and legal and federal persons around the DC areas. This includes FBI and CIA people. These people probably saw something was off and could have tipped. Or again, based off the investigation, when they were doing the investigation, there were they've been gathering this information. So it doesn't require necessarily anyone tipping off. It's probably the insurance company piecing everything together along with the police. Ms. Esquire, thank you so much for the super chat and for calling in. Ms. Esquire says, does anyone recall Wendy talking about a robbery at her home last year? Are you referring to the April one? This is what it's tied to. Ms. Esquire, the one from April, unless there was another one you're referring to. Thank you for the super chat. Tamara, thank you for another super chat. Tamara says, my thoughts are they might have done this to stay looking successful for the TV show. Bad idea. I really believe that's what it is. I do believe that because there is this pressure from the fans, from production, from the network, so that you're living this luxurious lifestyle. I never really looked at Wendy living this big luxurious lifestyle. More so, you would see it in her fashion. Hold on. Did I just lose? I think I lost the comment. I apologize if I missed your comment. Tasman, thank you so much for the super chat. Tasman says the gag for me is that these wealthy folks, in quotes, are insured with travelers insurance. If they had it like that, they'd be with Chubb. I work in the industry. Oh, do tell. Squirtle, thank you for another super chat. 4 degrees, but no foresight. Shaking my head. Thank you, Miss Brooklyn Diamond. Let me shimmy. Y'all sent some super chat. Let me shimmy. Miss Brooklyn Diamond, thank you for the super chat. She says, I don't know about other high ends, but LV only gives you 30 days to return. So if this was planned, if this was planned out in advance, okay. I don't know. I don't know the list of items that they had, but Tamara, thank you for another super chat. Karen, Giselle, and Ashley are on the phone as we speak. They're on the phone as we speak, and they're probably watching this video. Hey, ladies. And regular Robin. You're welcome, Robin. Rosefire, thank you for another super chat. Rosefire says, if we have learned nothing from Teresa Giudice, we should know that the powers that be watch these shows. The BK judge saw a tree by that hideous sofa. I mean, in this particular point in age, everything is watched and recorded. All right, my phone knows where I am. Y'all might not know where I am. My phone knows where I am. My IP right now is telling you where I am. Comedy Kennedy, thank you for the super chat. It says, Wendy quit her job at Johns Hopkins to be a Bravo baddie. Yeah, I don't know why she quit that job, because at least that's a consistent check. Squirtle, thank you so much for the super chat. Squirtle says 4 degrees and foreclosure. Squirtle's just on a roll today with I appreciate the super chats. Tamara, thank you for another super chat. Tamara says Eddie's family did not want him with Wendy, and now we know why. I mean, I'm not going to immediately blame Wendy, but I just know the family is probably blaming Wendy. Life of Samad, thank you for the super chat. Like Karen said, common sense is saving grace, and you cannot buy it. I mean, coming from Karen, though. Coming from Karen, it doesn't land the same. Tanya, thank you for the super chat. Tanya says, Eddie must not be a criminal attorney. He's not. Because as an insurance fraud investigator, they did everything wrong. All right, Tanya. It's very clear that whatever they did just it didn't make sense. Tamara, thank you for another super chat. Tamara says, I used to work for an insurance company, and they have auditors who investigate every claim, even a fender bender. Yeah, I don't know. They probably saw people like allegedly Dorit get away with it and thought they could. Killa Modi, thank you so much for the super chat. We knew what was what when her AAA was expired. Now y'all going back to the episode where her AAA was expired, and she was like, "Oh my God!" And apparently, according to the court documents, they're saying that there seems to be financial strain currently going on with Wendy. Coco Esquire, thank you so much for the super chat and for calling in. We appreciate your legal perspective as well. Shout out to the attorneys that called in this evening. We appreciate you. Bing Bang Boo Toya says she should have opened an Afterpay account like everybody. Y'all with the jokes tonight. Y'all got lots of jokes over here. Coco Esquire, thank you for another super chat. Coco Esquire says, someone said professors make over 120K. That is not enough for this lifestyle. Please understand what I am telling you. Yeah, 120K is not to be buying Birkins and stuff like that and tricking it out. No. And if you make let's say you make 120K over the year, that's not what you're taking home. And you have 3 kids. And, people have said that Eddie is not working as an attorney. So what is his sole focus is on the reefer business? I don't want to clock people's money, but a lot of people live in lifestyles that y'all think some of y'all think I'm rich. I ain't rich. So thank you all for the super chats and the Venmos and the people watching the content, engaging with the content. Thank you. Thank you to the people that came to the live shows this summer. Thank you. I ain't rich yet. I'm on the hunt for my billionaire. So that way I can marry rich. But I will be rich. My own solo rich. I will be rich. And then I'll be even more richer when I marry the billionaire. Oh. All right, DC, the Purple Diva, thank you so much for becoming a member. We appreciate it. You all can become members if you want to support me and make me rich. Well, it's not going to really make me rich, but you get what I'm saying. Become a member today, TeamKempire.com/join. Let me see. Kendra, thank you so much. I'm glad I finished what I needed to do because you see we're here over almost 2 hours. Kendra says, "OMG, I just woke up and Kim, you just shocked me with this news." Yeah, because I got the news. It was probably 10:30 a.m. New York City time. Jada, thank you so much for Suja. Jada says, fraud Edie, fraud Morton Mwangi, fraud Osefo. Well, I don't know if I want to associate Shamia with fraud, but here we are. Thank you, Tamara, for another super chat. Tamara says, fraudsters are glorified thieves. Basically, you're right. Oh, teach. Let me shimmy. Oh, almost fell over. Thank you for the super chat, $50 super chat. She says, you were the only person I wanted to hear break this down. Thank you for creating a community with qualified, intelligent people. Please add this to your lunch budget. Thank you so much, Tish. I appreciate that. And I get it. Not everyone can donate like that, but what you can do is like the video. What you can do is share the video. What you can do is subscribe. What you can do is go make sure you listen to the audio version of my podcast of this or some of the other content. What you also can do is head on over to the Humble Bread podcast, which I was a special guest this past week, and run up those comments and those views, because that video is hot this week. So anyway, but thank you all for that have watched it. The Life of Samad says, look at the CEO, look at the CEO, look at the CEO. Damn, y'all have been waiting to come for Wendy. Look at the CEO. I get it. Keith, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. Keith says, I won't say Wendy needs to be humble because that's rooted in insecurity, but they need to be held accountable. I'm too cute for prison. Good luck to them. I know, Keith. No, I'm not trying to. No. Tamara, thank you so much for another super chat. Tamara says, I am Black and proud, and one thing I will not do is defend someone just because we are Black. Oh, I agree, especially when you commit fraud. High Vibe, thank you for being a member for 48 months. Everyone showed love to High Vibe for being a member for 48 months. I just wish they filed for bankruptcy. I wouldn't be shocked if that's the next thing. But legally, I probably wouldn't be the best idea, right? Attorneys in the chat to file for bankruptcy now after you're facing fraud allegations. Yeah, this might not be the time. Keith, thank you for another subject. Keith says, also, you can own a dispensary as a former convict, but the Esquires mentioned it can still affect getting business insurance. Thank you, Keith, for clarifying, because that was a question that we had. Will this affect Happy Eddie's business? And if he currently has those insurances, will they drop him? T, thank you so much for the super chat. T says, after their arrest, a search warrant at their home reportedly recovered at least 15 items matching those claims stolen. Yeah, we read the court documents. Thank you, T, for the super chat and for just letting people know that are just joining us a little bit more about that information. This cat rocks. Thank you for the super chat. Says, more felonies than degrees. Oh, wait, more felonies than degrees. How dreadful. Damn. Shannon, thank you for the super chat. Shannon says she was friends with Peter too, and he's in jail. I don't know if they were really friends, but yeah. Freedom, thank you so much for the super chat. Freedom says, just left Brooke. I love y'all. Thank you. Corinne, thank you so much for the super chat. Corinne says, I was on the Potomac recap this week saying Wendy was moving up in life, and I apologize for my delusion. I mean, people, and thank you for the super chat. Yes, Kempire, claim the richness, no fraud. Thank you. Exactly. No fraud over here. Kendra, thank you for the super chat. Kendra says, now I'm really giving them the side eye when they looked at the son crazy when he wanted to work at Chick-fil-A. Y'all don't need everybody working in that household at this point. Tamara, thank you for the super chat. Tamara says, proud member since 2020. And we are here to make you rich, Kempire. Thank you. You all will see us build our wealth together. Ariana, thank you so much for the super chat. Ariana says, Kemp, I got a meeting soon, but I'm in the backstage. I got questions and thoughts. Thanks. Ariana, you want to skip the line, Ariana? Ariana, you're literally next, which is so funny to me. Hope you're still there. I'm gonna bring you up in 2 seconds. Let me just say, the Dynamite Life, thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate it. Again, guys, you can support just by liking the video or sending a Cash App, Venmo thing. Look, I'm traveling. YouTube gets a portion of these super chats. All right, let me get to Ariana. Ariana got a meeting. Ariana, what's up? Ariana, you're muted. Unless you're under.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, my bad.
What's going on?
How are you? How are you?
Enough of the niceties. Just say what you want to say.
Okay. So I do live in Maryland too. I really thought it was interesting that she was doing a home remodel, because it's like, I feel like her house is kind of big, and in Carroll County, like it doesn't really, I don't understand what the value she was going to get out of remodeling her home. So I was like, why wouldn't she just move like to somewhere closer and like a better school district or whatever? So I did think I thought that was weird that she was remodeling instead of buying, but it seems like she had all this debt. She couldn't buy a new house. And so I thought that was strange. And then I also, did she know that she was under investigation like this and about to go to jail? Because if this was going on for at least a year, or over a year and a half, right? So I'm confused. Like, was anyone notified that this is happening? Like, I just want to know that piece, because how is this going on and nothing was said at all? Yeah, I don't know. I just think this is all crazy. But yeah, I just think her remodeling the house was very suspicious to me. Like, that was really, really strange first episode, especially in Carroll County. Like, she was not going to get any money back from that. So yeah.
That's a good perspective. Thank you, Ariana. We appreciate you.
You're welcome. Have a good rest of y'all day. Bye.
You too. Bye. Taurus with the T, it says devices not connected. So I'll give you a moment. Kendra, thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships. Make sure you guys, if you got gifted a membership, to say thank you. I probably will do like a members only live. Can't promise it will be this evening because I need to go eat something at this particular point. I've been live for over 2 hours talking about the breaking news that Wendy Osefo and her husband, Eddie Osefo, were arrested for fraud. Apparently, they committed insurance fraud, allegedly. So we shall wait to see how that all plays out. We even got the court documents for those that are just joining us. Rewind, you can check that out. I will be adding timestamps for our replay crew as well. Taurus with the T, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kemp. I want to say I am super disappointed. I am very sick and tired of seeing our Black and brown housewives be caught up in all of these felonious acts. And while I do want to believe that Wendy and Eddie are both innocent, I mean, for God's sakes, they have such young children and they're so educated. I don't want to think that they are really out here trying to keep up with the Jonases, that they would risk everything that they have just to be on TV and look lavish. However, like everyone has already said, the evidence looks severely damning. And if she does go to prison, I think it's going to send a very strong message to everybody else just trying to get on TV in general. Not because you go on TV means like you need to be in the latest fashions, in the newest house, in the most expensive neighborhood. We still appreciate humility. At least I do. I like to see sincere stories on TV. I hate to see when minorities go on TV and wind up, like Karen was saying, being influenced by all of the fame that she was garnering, that she felt like she needed to keep up. So she, started doing illegal things. And where did that land her? Right in jail. So I'm going to keep watching, but it's looking more like Dr. Wenitentiary instead of Dr. Wendy. And for that, I am so sick for her kids. And Eddie's family is going to have a field day. So I'll keep watching.
Oof. Thank you, Taurus the T. And that's why, when we recap Real Housewives of Salt Lake City this season, where Monica Garcia was on there, and she talked about feeling insecure and trying to live up to the standards of these other women. I liked that vulnerability from her. So, all right, I'm going to stop talking so that we can get to more callers. Again, callers, short and shady. Everything that they're saying is alleged and of their own opinion. We're going to bring up Nicole next. Nicole, what did you want to share in regards to this breaking news?
Kempire, I wanted to say, because I'm from the DMV area, and a lot of people don't know, if you're from that area, a lot of the dispensaries, unlicensed dispensaries, have been closed since early last year, DC and Maryland. So I'm linking it to Happy 80 because, I had to put my little Nancy Drew hat on, and you go to his website, and his only locations is in New Jersey, Missouri, and Maryland. And so what I was saying with his fraud with the insurance, I wouldn't be surprised if they'll start investigating his business, because was he selling his products to unlicensed dispensaries the whole time? Because it seemed like if they were doing the fraud with the insurance, he might have not been smart enough, because they've been shutting down the dispensaries in DC and Maryland since the early part of last year. And maybe that's why they're not making any type of money on the business. And I would just put that out there. I mean, you know, the other viewers, you can go back, you know, and look and see what's been going on in DC since February of last year, even with Maryland. So I wouldn't be surprised. That's why he's not making any type of money with that business. And also with Wendy, I'm disappointed in her. I used to work at Johns Hopkins and I used to do contracts and procurement. So I used to do the budgets for certain departments. And as a professor, she's not getting paid that much. She was probably getting paid over $100,000 a year. And then on top of that, what I was upset with her when she resigned because she was tenure. Do you know how many professors fight to become tenure? Because once you become tenure, that means they can't fire you. They can't. It's like you're there for life, like a Supreme Court judge. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they're also investigating his Happy Eddie business if he was really, you know, selling his products to licensed dispensaries. So I just want to put that out there.
All right. Thank you, Nicole, for calling in.
Okay, you're welcome. Bye-bye.
All right, Tish, I'm going to bring you up, but I'm going to make sure that you're not driving, right? You stop. Okay. All right. Tish, what did you want to share about this breaking news?
Hey, Kempire. First of all, I want to say that I had a ticket for your DC live show, and I did not make it. I did not. My husband was like, "You just gonna give Kempire money?" I was like, "Yes, it is."
Okay, well, I appreciate that. I mean, I think after all of this, DC, I should come back, right? Come the top of the year.
You should. But what I wanted to say was, when I first saw this thing, I was like, I'm not gonna assume guilt or innocence or not until I get all the case before you read the whole thing. Now, I live in the DMV as well, and one of the things that always struck me weird with Dr. Wendy too is, just to lend credibility to what the nurse said earlier, Carol, where they got arrested, I went there to collect my wedding dress, and as soon as I stepped out the car, this was 2020, a random woman off the street looked at me with my mask on and said, "You look so silly with that thing on your face, girl. You should take it off." That's just to give you an idea of the type of people that lives in that area. That's one. Two, I think the burglary would have been suspicious because even if you looked at the drone footage of where she lives, she's not getting robbed right there in that county. She's not getting robbed. And I think that all of that just lends suspicion to the whole thing from the very start. And I'm just sad. I'm sad for her. I'm embarrassed for her. And hopefully she'll get it together. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, Tish, for calling in. And for keeping it short and shady. Love it. All right. Hyatt is backstage. We're going to bring Hyatt up next. Hyatt, what did you want to share?
Hi, Kempire. So it's been so long, and I just want to say you look phenomenal. And I was like, I need to know what Kempire is gonna say about this. I know you're gonna say something. So I was very happy to jump in and listen into your community, to be honest. Thank God for them. But anyways, really quickly, I also want to thank you for your Portugal review. I went to Portugal recently and it was phenomenal. And I did the tour and I was really appreciative of all the information you provided. I don't have any good feedback to give about the Wendy thing. I just want to say I hope it's not true. I really do. I also really hope that people can stop like peddling in like respectability politics, because it's never gonna it's never gonna get us far in life. We should just really care about each other inclusively. Now that I said all the nice stuff, I did think about some titles for the episode if it was a true, like, documentary story. And I thought it could be Wendy in the Hot Seat or The Real Fraud Wives of Potomac. I'm working on some titles. But I'm also hoping that that never has to be said, because I really hope that this is not true and the Justice Department is making a mess. Anyways, that is it. Thank you so much for this live, and I'm going to rewatch it again because there was so much tea.
Yeah. Oof. Thank you so much, Hype, for calling in. All right. We still have quite a few people backstage. And I haven't even dropped the call link for the general audience. Sorry, general audience. I'm not going to drop the call link for you guys because it's already over 2 hours. So I just want to get to our members. It's not one of the benefits of being a member, but it is an undisclosed benefit that we have around here. It also just kind of weeds out the people that want to call in and be messy. Singer DST, thank you so much for becoming a member. We appreciate your support. Kendra, thank you so much again for gifting memberships. We appreciate your support. Samira, thank you so much for the super chat. Samira says, as an African, I know Eddie's parents are raising all types of hell. Nah. Hell now. You know what they're saying. They're like, see, we were right. I'm not, and again, I'm not blaming Wendy. I'm just saying that's what his family's probably saying. Tea Talk with your girl. Thank you so much for the super chat. Another super chat. Tea Talk with your girl says, I live in Carroll County. One thing I do not worry about is burglaries. Oh, not to say it can't happen, but the likelihood is low. And again, when we read the court documents, the apparently the police department was suspicious as well, because they did, after their investigation, the point of entry, there was no evidence of a break-in. That's kind of crazy to me, but okay. Kelso, thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate your support. Kelso, are you Jamaican? Because that name is very Jamaican. All right, let me get to our next caller. Miss Fancy Pants is backstage. Miss Fancy Pants, what did you want to share?
Wagwan Kempire.
Wagwan, sister. Isn't Kelso a very Jamaican name?
Very much so. Very much so. This is your Jamaican sister from the DMV with a little bit of tea. Okay, so first, Kempire. Me and Wendy have shared several hairstylists over the past few years. I don't know who tried to tack down that wig in that mugshot. That wasn't my stylist, but I remember, oh my God, today. I remember my hairstylist talking about this break-in and side-eyeing it.
Wait a second. Miss Fancy Pants, this feels like deja vu. Did you not bring this up before to me?
I don't think so. This is my first time calling in.
But I just feel like someone said this before. Okay, I'm sorry. Or I could just be having a That's So Raven moment.
Listen,
I don't know.
It's the earth sign,
Okay, I'm continue. I'm sorry.
It's okay. And he side-eyed, and I remember him saying something about insurance fraud. And he's had several people sit in his chair with similar stories, because they're the girls of the girls of the girls. Like, these are the DMV girls with the bags and the luxury vehicles. And also, in conjunction, the African community up here, the Nigerian, Ghanaian, like, you have to step. You got to be proper. Hair, nails, everything has to come. So I think it's a little bit of the Joneses keeping up with the Bravo scene and keeping up with the African girls up here. Like, think of Vivian and all she had going on last season. Like, it's a certain lifestyle you have to be in to be accepted into that, I guess, arena. But I hope it's not true, but it's looking like it's true, allegedly. I also did find it funny that you just released that tea about Brooke Ashley and God Don't Like Ugly. That was earlier this week, wasn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't even a week ago.
No, I think that was like Monday, but I'm just saying. And question for you, Kempire. As of 2:17 Eastern Standard Time, I know you're in a different time zone, Fancy. Wendy was listed as an attendee of BravoCon next month. Do you think she's going to show up?
Do you think she should show up?
No. I would not.
But people's pride will make them show up to stuff like that. I'm like, oh, I'm innocent, so I'm going. And I think you signed a contract for that, but I guess you probably could technically get out of it based off the law. So
absolutely, she might have to pay back her booking fee or whatever. I don't know if the contract, but you know.
And mind you, she also probably was going to bring Happy Eddie to the Bravo Bazaar, which they make a lot of money from that, from the merch and stuff like that. So and apparently they need the money. So.
Well, I plan on being there. I hope you was going, but I understand.
No. But you never know. Anything can happen last minute. If
I go, I'll report back.
But I'm not rich enough to be going to Vegas and a vacation and this. No.
Okay, but the Ireland budget is budgeting.
Or pay that high BravoCon ticket price. Okay.
It was a gift. It was gifted to me. But I see your Ireland budget is budgeting, brother. So you have a great time.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Bye. All right, we're gonna bring Tyler up next. Tyler, what did you want to share? I want to hear what you got to say.
Hi, Kempire.
Okay.
So sometimes we have to leave those ideas that we get from our hood cousins for the hood. You know what I'm saying? Because those are things that we tend to do when we're on the come up, growing up. You get in a little car accident, you fall out the car a little bit, knowing you don't need the physical therapy that they're saying. You stage a little break in because you need some Christmas money. You do those things. Well, I am from Memphis. I'm going to be quiet. But anywho, those are things we do on the come up. Wendy. To be honest, you were never giving that you had that type of coin, but we do appreciate an educated Black woman being on television and being well to do. That was enough. You do not have to keep up with the Joneses. I've always liked Wendy, to be honest, but I knew something was up. There was nothing wrong with her getting the BBL or whatever like that, but like everything about her changed from that one season when she first came to the next one, and I was like, oh, she's trying to keep up with the girls. And the gag is there's no one to keep up with on Potomac. Karen doesn't know, none of them are the real picture of Potomac, like the where the real money is at. Karen is renting and renting fashions. Giselle looks a god awful mess. Thank God she's pretty. Candace has never given. She wears that same, she's been wearing that same Gucci belt since the season she came in. Like none of them on that show are like you get what I'm saying? Like no offense to them, but they're like they make decent money. They're okay, but I'm saying there's not. It's not like she's with the girls in Atlanta or Beverly Hills or anything like that. There was no need. Wendy, your presence was enough, and I really think that she fell into thinking that she had to, be more than what she actually was. But you are that girl. You're highly educated. Your husband is as well. You're well spoken, well to do. We didn't need that from you. And I mean, unfortunately, you fell into the trap. So, bye, Phaedra Osefo. I mean, Wendy Osefo. Bye. Thank you, Kempire.
Thank you, Tyler. Y'all are real extra. Y'all been waiting to call in on this one because y'all are very extra. Okay. All right. Let me bring up Brandy from California next. Brandy, what's going on?
Hey, Kempire, how are you?
Well, how are you?
Good. I was gonna say it is kind of suspicious with Wendy, especially if the neighborhood is like a good neighborhood and stuff, because most people have like Ring cameras and doorbell camera. What was that?
They have a Ring camera and an ADT system.
Oh yeah, so like if they didn't catch the suspects on there, I mean, how was you gonna spin that story? Like, I don't think they had their stuff together. And I experienced a burglary myself, and I know that when it came time to insurance, I had to go sit for a deposition, which I was told is like basically being in court, testifying under oath. And it had like the video thing recording their attorney. Like it was a serious thing. So, and then I didn't get paid till like a year later too. So if Wendy and Eddie with all those degrees and everything, like if they couldn't tell that it was gonna be serious, then yeah, I don't know if that was just greed or she was just
desperation,
right, or really feeling herself, like thinking she can't be touched. But I don't know. But that's crazy.
Thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you.
Take care. All right. We have Nelson the Virgo backstage. We have Keith, and then we have Jenna. That will be it for this evening. We've been live for almost 2.5 hours. I hightailed it back after doing a little shopping here in the Netherlands. I was like, all right, let me get back there. Let me go do a little story. For those that are waiting on my Real Housewives of Miami recap, part 2 of the reunion, that will probably be tomorrow, if not whenever I get to it. Because look, I still have a few days left to my vacation. Okay. All right. And again, if you Mods, can you let me know how many likes that we've gotten to? We have nearly 7,000 of you watching on multiple platforms. Shout out to those of you watching on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter. Follow us on Twitch because apparently this is like great quality, both video and audio. All right. So make sure you're following us on Twitch, twitch.tv/TheKempire. And if you're part of the replay crew, I will be adding timestamps whenever, because I need to order dinner. I might have to, while Nelson's talking, I might have to grab my phone and order dinner because I don't know how I have the strength after all of this to go out to dinner. So stay locked. Thank you so much, Foxy. Foxy says soon to 3,800 likes, but we have nearly how many of you watching? Come on now. All right, let me bring up Nelson next. Nelson, what did you want to share about Wendy Osefo and Eddie Osefo being arrested?
Okay, so yeah, go order your dinner. I don't have much to say, but I do have like a little bit of, So, first thing I'm a little, it's like I'm torn. Like I
Mm.
feel bad because of the kids. It's all to me is always about the kids, but it's like you really switched up after that first season. Like I want to say, I don't know that you could tell that she was insecure that first season because to do the whole. I'm not even trying to say that people can't do the body stuff because if you want to fix up your body because you had kids,
Mhm.
understand you had 3 kids, but like you did a whole boob party as the intro of that season to introduce your new boobs. I'm just saying that like that, that's a little, and then like it was the multiple businesses and like we all saw that as, oh, Wendy's just trying to find her footing. No, she probably was moving the money. Allegedly. I'm gonna say allegedly because
Allegedly. My God.
I mean, it's something I don't know because like everything is just now like some of the stuff that was happening on Potomac is now starting to kind
It's
of
gonna look a little
make
different now for us.
sense. Like a lot, and we don't know the full story, but it's just like something wasn't adding up. And listen, I know people destroy Giselle because of her attitude and what she does, but you know what? Her tacky outfits are saving her. She is buying it from the sales rack, and that's okay. I don't think Giselle is trying to keep up with any Joneses.
No, she's a
I don't
Virgo.
think okay, hello. She was not trying to keep up with nobody.
No.
Everybody on that show is clearly trying to keep up with whatever, one upping each other. But because I mean, think about it. Karen has a 3-wick, a candle, and now you want one too. Or like I'm saying now, look, Wendy, Happy Eddie's coming out now. Stacy's about to do it. I mean, Stacy's doing what something just seems a little bit off in Potomac. Something's in the air, something's in the air.
I don't
Um,
know what's in the air, but
the other thing I wanted
something.
to say was shout out to you on the Humble Brag because that episode was really good. I watched it, I think, twice because it was so much
Oh, thank
fun.
you.
I did. No, I did. It was such a good conversation. See,
I had
I
a good
don't know.
time.
I think you talking about Crystal, like I've seen you talk about Crystal and seeing you in front of her, that was just like a full circle moment in my head. I was just like, wow. It was just so nice to see you with Cynthia. And then Cynthia was like, oh, Kempire, we need to hang out. I'm like, not Kempire's hanging out with the housewives. Oh,
Here you go. You notice how she said it, and I was like,
yeah, I know. I was about to say, because if Kempire said, oh, yes, Cynthia, let's hang out, my next comment would have been, Kempire's about to start being nice to Cynthia. No, I know you don't, Kemp. I'm just joking.
No. But here's the thing: I would hang out with Cynthia because I always look at Cynthia not just as a housewife, because I feel like some of us knew Cynthia before Housewives.
Her personality is very bubbly. She doesn't seem like the type that she doesn't care. Like even if you were to talk badly about her, she's like, that was what happened. Like when you even brought up the whole thing about season 6, and she was like, that happened when it happened. I was like, yeah, the conversation was lovely. I really did like that. It was so much fun. So I hope you do come back to them again. Like even if
I would like for them to come on my show, but I want to do it in person because I feel like the energy
that would be so much better. Oh my God, that'll be so exciting. Hopefully they come to New York because I know that they were saying about the live show and you was giving them advice on it. So I really do hope that they do come to New York because that would be such a good even if they even watch. Right. But I'm not going to LA right now. I'm here.
All right,
yeah, so at the end, yeah, that's it. That's what I got. So I'll see you for the Miami thing because I want to talk about that mortician. That mortician.
If I fill up to, I need to eat first. If I fill up, maybe
you had a lot. Today was a heavy day, and that was between you and Brooke because I know Brooke had things to say.
I need to go watch what Brooke had to say because I was texting with Brooke, but I need to see what she said.
Listen, I was in between you and her. I had you on Twitch. I had her on YouTube on the TV. I was like, I need to get all the tea because I know that both of them, they was packing it up. So yeah, I hope you enjoy.
Just a reminder to those of you out there. You see how you can support everyone.
Just saying. So shout out to you, and I'm in the mods chat over there on Twitch, so I'll be there. But thank you for having me, and I'll see you next time.
Yes, take care, Nelson.
Bye.
Bye. I love our community. Our community. Oh God, speaking of Virgos, we got another Virgo backstage. I'm not shading the Virgos, but no. Okay. Can I order dinner? I'm gonna order dinner. So when I'm looking down, I'm trying to order something because it's gonna take a minute to get here. So when we're done here, I want to be able to like, food's here. All right. Let me bring up the other Virgo, Keith.
Hello.
What's going on, Virgo?
Hey. So first of all, I'm so happy to see that you're on vacation because you have been working so hard this year. And I'm on vacation myself, and I didn't even work half as hard as you did. So you definitely deserve it. But what I did want to say,
you got a man though.
That is true. That's why we're on this little vacation right now. But funny thing is, actually, when I got the story of Dr. Wendy, I had actually literally just got out the shower. It's like,
Dr. Wendy got you. Dr. Wendy got you. You went mute. Keith, we can't even hear you. I wonder what happened. You got a phone call?
Oh, yeah, I did get a phone call.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, my bad. So, yeah, like I was saying, when I got the notification, when I saw it on my feed, I had just got out of the shower and I dropped my phone the moment I saw the mugshot because I was in complete disbelief. It felt like my own mother would tell me she just got arrested. Like the way my mouth just dropped, I would have never seen this in 1,000 years. And the thing is, I didn't receive because it's not like Wendy moved to a bigger home. Yes, she may have gotten a little minor surgery or bought some more clothes, but I mean, there's people that work regular jobs that are able to afford a full job or get a no job, things of that nature. So it wasn't really something that raised an alarm. But when I saw that information about them possibly allegedly scamming the insurance company, I just couldn't believe it. But at the same time, I could somewhat believe it because this happens a lot. And like I stated before in the super chat, I think she should have called up Dorit before executing this plan. Because I don't know what Dorit did or really what PK did. What I think he did, he probably sent over people from London to do the job and sent them right back to London. So therefore, there could be no witnesses. No one can say, oh, I saw them down the block. Because they're in a whole different country. She should have got some people from Nigeria to do the job, if I'm being honest. But also, one last thing about
before you finish that thought, reminder: Dorit and PK have not been charged with anything. These are all allegations. Okay, continue.
Yeah, allegations, like what Kempire just said, allegations. But we see each other. But last thing what I wanted to say is about the whole about Eddie being able to own a dispensary. He is still able to own a dispensary, but the insurance company can be able to drop him from the insurance. But also, if he was to have gone to jail for a criminal charge of like drug trafficking or something like that, then he wouldn't be able to open up a dispensary. But for a federal case such as this, as long as they don't see him as a liability, as someone that can possibly be using this as an illegal activity, then he'll still be able to open it. But with no insurance, and especially within the cannabis industry, because I do know someone that do own a dispensary in California, and it's very expensive to one, even open up a dispensary. Two, it's really even more expensive to get insurance because cannabis itself is it's a lucrative business, but it's a very risky business because it's illegal federally. So since federally illegal, it is expensive to be able to gain that certification to be able to even sell cannabis legally. But that's about it.
There's so many layers to this conversation today. I appreciate our community. Thank you, Keith, for that information. All right. Not last. We have a couple people backstage. I probably will drop the call link because I try to be nice because a lot of you have been waiting patiently, hoping that I would drop the call link. However, those of you that are not members, I will be. I'm not going to take all the callers. I'm not taking all the callers. But members, I'm going to do this now. All right, we have Jenna and we have Anthony that are backstage. So I'm going to take their calls, and then when I get to Anthony, then I'll drop the call link for the general audience. However, again, I'm not going to be able to take everyone, okay? Because once that food arrives, I'm out. All right, Jenna, what did you prepare?
Hey, Kempire, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay, great. Because a couple of times my live cut out. I think Dr. Wendy's mama was raining a Holy Ghost fire on my Wi-Fi connection, trying to keep me from talking. But
hey, look, you see what you did? Now you sound a mess.
Oh, yes, she done got me.
Holy Ghost fire on your Wi-Fi Jenna, we can't hear you. You sound. Oh, damn, the T-Mobile got her. Jenna? Jenna, ooh, Holy Ghost fire. We can't hear you. Jenna, drop out and call back in. Nelson said, I'm in tears. You see, she said it, and all of it, because you know Wendy's probably watching this right now. Wendy's probably watching this right now. Right? She's underwater. That's what she sounded like. She was underwater. He said, wait a minute, I am so afraid. Okay, Anthony's backstage. Anthony, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. If anything, blame the company Wi-Fi. I had to call in during work. I'm watching on Twitch, and I'm calling from Los Angeles, California. This story got me gagged this morning. How is it that a woman that has 4 degrees, 1 doctorate from Johns Hopkins University, and you're going to do this? It really is a big shock for me. I thought the messiest thing was last season when she called roadside assistance and it was expired. Like, you're going to call for that and not know, but yet you're going to pull off, like, it's crazy, bonkers, bananas, and we just started this season of Potomac. I thought last night's Miami reunion was crazy. This news this morning is beyond, and I don't know what else to say. I just wanted to call in and say I'm gagged. The community is gagged. I'm just crazy. But thank you so much for accepting my call.
Thanks, Anthony.
Take care.
All right, let's see if Jenna's back because the Holy Ghost fire got her. Are you there, Jenna?
I don't know if y'all can hear me. The connection's so bad.
Jenna, where are you? Why is your? I've never heard a connection so bad in my life. It is the Holy Ghost fire. I'm glad I'm in another country. Damn, Jenna, Holy Ghost fire really got it. You know, if I was in the studio, would I be playing right now, right? Okay. All right. Let me bring up TJ next. All right. TJ, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire. I'm so glad you're on vacation. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Okay, well, let me get to the point. Okay, first of all, Wendy's giving Nigerians a really bad rep because people are now kind of feeding into the stereotype. It's just so sad. I feel sorry for her kids, right? And then, okay, can Africans not get strays, guys? Can you just, echo chamber to Nigerians? Please. I've been watching the comments. Everybody's so crazy on it. But the one thing I am curious about, I want to see Stacey's shade. Stacey, because she's opening a cannabis shop soon. So I think she also knew something because she's a journalist. So she probably had some tea. So, but yeah, that's all I had to say. And thank you so much for calling the caller link because I've been waiting for like 2 hours. I've been waiting. But thank you so much.
I thought about it. I was like, all right, let me just drop it forever.
Enjoy the rest of your vacation. And hi everybody. Bye everybody. Good night, everybody.
Bye. All right, San before we bring you up, let me see Jenna. Jenna, are you there? Oh, Jenna dropped out. Jenna, I don't know what's going on with your connection. All right. Let me bring up San. San, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire, this is insane. I don't know much about US law, but I know like the immigrant side of things, and as a non-Nigerian African, it just sucks to see them like never beating those allegations. And I know it just depends, and I kind of looked at my Nigerian partner sideways again because I'm like, you see your people. I'm like, you see your people. It was very hard. And even when I got into a relationship with him 4 years ago, all of my non-Nigerian African family were like, are you sure? What kind of family are they? And I'm like, okay, no, they're degreed. They're not the business type Nigerians. They're just the educated doctor, lawyer.
But you heard what our lawyers have said, that a lot of the people that get involved in the insurance crimes are doctors and lawyers.
And then just an interesting sidebar. Let me not disclose too much, but I recently exited a job where I was working for Nigerians here in the US. And part of my exit was just seeing the shortcuts and all of these things that, okay, we might get away with in Africa. But this is the United States of America. You're not going to be doing these things. And then I was laughing at all of the comments that your community was leaving. Someone said, Bravo has to be working with the feds. Someone else said, Eddie's eyes are hanging low and Wendy's hair looks ready to hit the floor. But I'm just over here kikiing at it all. Obviously innocent until proven guilty. It's just so shady. I'm so disappointed in her. Through the Brooke Ashley's, telling of what's been going on with her experience with Wendy, I've kind of been like, okay, Dr. Wendy, one more try. I'm still on your side, African girl to African girl, and then this. Yeah. But just disappointed. Thank you for breaking the story for a lot of us who were just waking up on this end.
Well, thank you so much, Stan, for calling in. All right. Let me try Jenna again. Jenna, did the Holy Ghost fire get you again?
Oh, you said it. Hopefully it don't try to jump up on me again. Can y'all hear me okay?
Perfect.
Okay, good. Because I was like, ooh, I shouldn't have talked about sister such and
Jenna,
such. I'm sorry. Yeah, so somebody probably already said what I was going to say because such wonderful callers have already called in. I'm glad I made the live today, honey. I actually stayed home sick. And, you just have such a wonderful community of from the Esquires to the other people in insurance who people are so learned. And somebody probably said it already that I personally don't feel bad for the kids. I feel bad for my Nigeria because between Simon Gubadia, the brothers that was helping out Jesse Smollett, and now the Osefos, Nigeria ain't never gonna beat these allegations. It's a mess. And I laugh, I joke, I kid. Of course, I feel bad for the kids. I'm sure they're fine. But we all got jailbirds in our family, so whatever. But I do want better for all the people involved. And at the end of the day, I just want to say Wendy should know better because they be watching us, whether Dorit did what she did or not, they always going to scrutinize Black and brown people harder. So y'all got to be careful or y'all got to just be honest. And the last thing I'm going to say, because people don't know this, but just like they probably built a case against Wendy and they were waiting for her in the bushes, like y'all be stalking Kempire from the bushes instead of liking the video, wink, wink. Y'all got to be careful because not only are there cameras everywhere where they're watching stuff, they will build a case on you, even for oh, you steal a little something at Target, something's in your buggy, and you forget to pay for it. They are watching you when you do these things, and they will wait until you have a felony charge, and then they will arrest you. So y'all be safe and stay careful out here in these streets because you barely got to do anything illegal to get in trouble as a Black or brown person in the U.S. So y'all stay up and keep your head on a swivel, and have a good weekend. Bye.
Thanks, Jenna. She came back and she's on perfectly clear. I love it. All right, let's get to some more callers, guys. I always forget to remind you, we have new merch available. If you love when I say, are you okay? I'm going to have to do that for Dr. Wendy later. I'll do my TikTok video. Merch is now available for that. My tour merch, I had a very fun summer tour where it came to DC, Philly, Atlanta, and New York City. Tour merch is now available at houseofkempire.com. That's HAUS of Kempire.com. Ticket links are available in the description. All right, let me bring up Clarissa. Hold on, Clarissa. What did you want to share? Clarissa, are you there? I hear you moving around, but I don't hear you speaking.
Kempire, can you hear me?
Now I can. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
I hear myself now. Okay. So I just want to make a general statement.
Mm-hmm.
So I work from the insurance side of things.
Mm-hmm.
I work very closely with SIU. And let me just say in general talk, when you give a statement to an insurance adjuster, you can't even lie about what you have for breakfast that morning. You can't lie about what shirt you had on that morning. Because as an adjuster of your experience, you hear that lie. And we have to refer that immediately to SIU.
Oh.
And when I say when they have their teeth sunk into you, they do not let go. They have private investigators. They are with the police department, and they will investigate your social accounts. They're going to also look at your friends and family for their social accounts. When you're tagged into something, they're going to look. If you are saying that you got in an accident at Kroger's, they're going to look at those video cameras from that traffic that you took from your house to Kroger's. They're going to see if that's where you were at. I had a case where he said he was at Kroger and got into an accident, fell with his side chick. You have to be very careful when you're putting in those claims. Okay?
Wow.
That's my PSA for the day.
Or just don't commit crimes. There's my PSA. Thank you, Clarissa, for calling in. All right. My food is on the way, y'all. So I'm gonna get through these super chats. I will maybe take another caller, but they literally will be here in like 10 minutes. Squirtle, thank you so much for the super chat. Squirtle says oh wait, no, I already read that one. From Zenwen to Penwen. Lord have mercy. Paige, thank you so much for becoming a member. We appreciate your support. Diamond, thank you so much for the super chat. Diamond says, I hope they get Judice level attorneys. Teresa and her ex-husband got sweetheart deals. I don't know if I can't remember what Teresa went through in regards to her charges, but weren't those charges federal? Right? If I'm not mistaken. Freedom, thank you so much for another super chat. Freedom says, and all we know, the Brooke Ashley is that girl. Yes. Shout out to the Brooke Ashley. Kelly, thank you so much for the super chat. Kelly says, hey, Cam, gonna catch the replay, but just want to show some love. What? Not Dr. Osefo and Happy Eddie, cha. Kelly, I know. Thank you for the super chat. Ali, thank you so much for the super chat. Ali says, caller is right. I used to work insurance defense, and we call those EUOs, examination under oath. We used to bring people in for $500 claims. Lord have mercy. I don't know. It sounds like they made a lot of mistakes here. Jay, thank you so much for the advice. Kempire, if you have a chance to visit the Rijksmuseum Museum in Amsterdam, please do. They have historic art from multiple centuries. I saw a painting from 11 AD. I've actually gone there before, and I've been to Amsterdam multiple times. But you're right, there might be some new stuff that I could see. So maybe I'll make a visit tomorrow to the Rijksmuseum, even though it's Saturday. It's probably going to be crazy. Miss Abby, thank you so much for becoming a member. We appreciate your support. Kat, thank you so much for super chat. I'm coming in late to the live, so bear with me, but gagging. Not Eddie's parents knew she'd be the downfall, not the multi-degree holier than thou, Wendy. I just know the parents are reacting that way. Just saying. Kat, thank you so much for super chat. Kat says someone's checking on Wendy's mama and asks, are you okay? I just know she's having an ego meltdown. Millie, thank you so much for the super chat. Millie says, I screamed Garcelle in my Kemp voice when I read the news. Not Garcelle. Garcelle has nothing to do with this. All right, I'm going to try and take one more caller, but they're literally going to be here in like 2 seconds, and I have to run to the lobby. Okay, let me bring up Audrey. Audrey, what did you want to share? Audrey, you're muted.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Oh my God, I can't believe I got pulled up. I've been listening to this all day, so I'm at work. And my photographer, I turned him on to you. He's like, oh my God, is Kempire going live with this? Like, so, and he doesn't even watch the show, but he's like, this sounds bad. Anyway, so I just want a quick question. Please forgive me. Someone asked this because I've been going back and forth doing interviews and everything today, just working. But so what happens with Bravo now in a sense of the whole season shot, rah. We thought, Karen was going to be the big thing this season. Do they pick up cameras and go back and get any of this? Do they try to do a re-edit? Like, I feel like this is always Bravo always messes up with this, where there's something huge happening and there are no cameras. You don't see any of it, right? And so until like the next season, months later, after they've already have their written statement and been lawyered to a T and what have you, but like, so what happens in your opinion? Do you think Bravo should pick up the cameras again and try to do a complete re-edit, because this is huge?
I don't think they're going to do a re-edit. I think they're going to, and I don't think they're going to pick up the cameras again. I think they're going to probably just include this for season 11, and I'm sure they will talk about it. I'm sure they will talk about it for the reunion.
And one more quick question before I let you go. I know you got to eat, and I'm so glad you're enjoying your European vacation because you deserve it. But moving forward, when you Jen Shaw, we can name them all, like Apollo, Peter, the Judices, whatever. at what point does Bravo go, okay, we are a problem and we got to figure this out? Because this is, I was about to say this is all, I'm sorry, go ahead.
They don't. They're making money off of this. I really got to go because they're about to be here. But thank you so much for calling in. Thank you to everyone that calls in. Thank you to everyone that shared their advice. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you, Candace, for the super chats. Candace says, somebody go find Nneka. I know she's gagging. I'm sure she is. I'm sure all of them are on the hotline right now. Thank you to everyone for being here. Thank you to our King's Guards. Thank you to everyone for sharing the live, for subscribing. If you're a new subscriber, let me know. If you're a new subscriber in the replay crew, be sure to let me know. Thank you all for being here. I will see you all in the next one. Have a great rest of your Friday. Bye.
Here we go now.